Honestly, Jane, I don't think anyone's going to agree with you about this. Welcome to the Sunday Movie Marathon. What's my name? I forgot. I'm Water Bear today. It says it on my mug.
I'm Chris.
I'm American Pie.
It can always count on my mug to tell me what my name is.
Yeah. I've got my initials in my mug.
Yeah, mine just says D, but that's pretty much what people call me anyway, so... It's my name, I guess.
Max is the odd one out.
Water Bear, thank you. Yes.
Well, that's a bit of a stupid thing to say, though, isn't it, Chris? Because Max has come here to our home, where obviously we would have things for, and I was be like going over to Max's and being like, "Oh, look, there's this mug here that has an M on it." That's stupid.
Yeah, you don't treat me in quite the way I would like to be treated here with, my own mug and everything of the sort since I come here all the time.
That is true. H has their own mug, but Max doesn't.
The fuck?
That is actually a crime.
You kidding me?
No, you're right. Yeah, it's true.
That's insane.
We'll get you on.
By the next episode, I expect my own mug.
Do you know what? I think we should get you your own mug. I think it's only fair.
How have we been? Oh, shit. I just knocked
demise.
the American Pie DVD box set off.
The quadrilogy! Well, it's not. It's a trilogy and reunion.
Quadrilogy, yes. What does it say? 4 hilarious pieces of...
Shit.
I don't know. It's covered with a sticker. Pie. That's what it says. 4 hilarious pieces of pie.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking about those 3 hilarious pieces of pie later on. Just put that back up there for £1.50. How have we all been?
Same as ever.
Yeah, we ask this question every week, and it's always, still
I feel
living.
like it's been
Goes
longer
on.
than a week, though.
Yeah,
it feels like
does.
it, but it's not.
Well, that's annoying. Or is it great that time just feels like it's going a bit slower?
I don't know. I don't know how you want me to answer this one.
Yeah, it depends on your opinion of time.
Well, time is
I have
obviously...
a lot of opinions on time, man. None that I've cared to go into right now, though.
Yeah, we don't need to open up this, Pandora's box.
I booked a lot of gigs recently.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Yeah,
On a lot of... Well, I say a lot. It's not really a lot.
Like 2.
2 gigs. Not much money. Victorious again. Figured I might as well.
So technically 3, actually.
3.
Yeah, she got Lorna Shaw.
Lorna Shaw and
Oh, yeah.
Ellie Goulding. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Like Southampton, which is crazy. Chris just found out. He was like, oh, fuck, she's playing in Southampton. You like her? And I'm like, I do like her. £12 a ticket? That's insane. She sells out arenas. Fucked up.
And you'll get to see her again in August.
Yeah.
That was August.
Great year. It's going to be a great year. For like great music and gigs. Can't wait. Yeah. That Lorna Shaw ticket was like double the price of the Ellie Goulding one. Just wild. But I guess that's just the way it goes sometimes. And that's it, I suppose. Probably going on holiday soon.
Yeah.
Or in the summer months. When it warms up a bit. Fucking hell, I'm tired of the cold, really.
I thought it was well hot today.
It was quite warm. It was
I warm yesterday. Me and Darcy went for a walk along the beach and it was really hot.
You were like, you get accustomed to wearing about 16 different jackets and layers and stuff, and we were just like, fucking hell, it's actually really hot. And I felt that today as well, to be fair.
Yeah, but then Chris was like, oh, it's really warm actually yesterday, and I was like, oh, okay. He was like, I wore my coat and that was a mistake. So I went on my break and I went outside and didn't wear a jumper, and I was like, this was a mistake. It was still cold.
Maybe it's just where we were.
Right on the fringes at the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be
Must
colder.
be warmer over there, yeah, surely.
Well, yeah, it's a bit weird actually, because it was like...
Well, it might be.
Yeah, it
The
was...
sun's right there. You're
Or it might
closer
just-
to
Yeah, it
the
was
sun.
literally
It could have cooled down as
on the
well
head.
by the time we got back.
It's true. This is all true.
Maybe, yeah.
Winter's
Oh,
almost over. Spring on the horizon. We got some movies to talk about. We saw some new movies. We saw some old movies. We're going to talk about the new movies first.
Cool.
Don't know which one you want to start with. I guess
One
possibly
we've watched the...
First?
Yeah.
first.
Yep.
No, knock at the cabin.
I think it
Was
was.
that one? New M. Night Shyamalan movie, Knock at the Cabin. M. Night is back after his critically acclaimed movie Old to steal the show again.
with
with
which
a movie.
followed up his critically acclaimed movie Glass.
Yeah, he's just following up again and again. He keeps making movies, and he's one of the ones who just keeps going. One of the great directors of our time. Old sucked.
So did Glass.
I didn't see it.
Glass wasn't that bad.
Glass was awful. It was
But
one of the
again,
worst movies he's ever done.
I think Glass was one of those movies that I didn't really know a lot about M. Night at the time. So I just went in watching it and I was like, oh, this is fine. There were like some like really, really fucking hilarious bits in it that I don't think were meant to
No, of
be
course not.
funny.
It was a bad sequel to two good movies.
Maybe that's why as well, because I watched them in the wrong order. I also haven't seen Split, so that doesn't help, does it?
Split was good, man.
No, I fucked it up. I watched Glass first, and then I saw
Unbreakable.
that one.
My
and I still
favourite of his
haven't seen Split.
movies.
Ooh.
I know.
Yeah, I only saw Unbreakable once, but I like that one, I think.
Yeah, it was quite cool, actually.
Split, I remember being good, and I never saw Glass because I heard it was terrible and nobody liked it.
I don't know. I didn't mind it, but I don't know any better. Like back then, I was just watching it for everyone else at work wanted to go and see it, so I was like, okay. I didn't even think it was I didn't even think it was part of a trilogy or anything. I just kind of went in and went, oh, that looks like that guy from Split that I've never seen. Didn't think anything
that
of
one. So Knock at the Cabin.
it.
What's it about? They're at a cabin, and
You're right.
suddenly there's a knock, and they got to find out who's at the cabin. And then Dave Bautista comes in, and he's like, "You have been chosen to these husbands and their daughter."
Yeah, Ron Weasley's there as well.
And Ron shows up, and they just sort of they have a pretty fun time, sort of back and forth. People dying, man. What do we think about it? What do we think about Ron?
I like
He's not in it that much.
No, he's not.
I thought he was pretty good though. But then,
I like Ron.
you know, he's a good actor anyway. And like, well, not Ron because he's obviously not Ron, but you know.
Rupert Grint. I think the only other thing I've seen apart from Harry Potter that he's been in was Thunderpants.
Oh yeah.
Don't know if either of you remember that movie.
I
that
do.
Classic.
Just the.
I don't remember it clearly.
The one who farts all the time, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
He's not really been in like loads of mainstream stuff, I don't think.
no.
Since-
No.
The old Harry Potter.
I'm pretty sure I've seen him in like. I want to say he was in that film about like the woman who lived in a caravan or something, but other than that, yeah, no, I haven't seen him in much at all. Actually,
He was like the only one of those main three who like didn't really go into the public sort of zeitgeist a bit.
yeah.
Like, even though Daniel Radcliffe did a lot of like indie stuff, people still knew about what he was doing.
Yeah.
Like Swiss Army Man, the Weird Al type of movie that he was all about. And he did some. You guys see Horns?
No, I've heard of
No.
it though, yeah.
That's a fun one.
I just wonder whether I get the sense that he likes acting, but he doesn't like to do it that much. Does that make sense?
Who, Rupert Grint?
Maybe.
Yeah. Because
I don't know.
like
I think he's been in like TV. I think he did that M. Night show, The Servant, that was on Apple.
Yeah, I've heard good things
that's-
about that.
the second someone says it's on Apple TV, I'm like, all right, that's why I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I'm pretty sure he was in it. But yeah, he's in this. I think he does a pretty good job. So this is all we're going to talk about is just Rupert Grint's performance.
I just wish he was in it more, but I understand. You know, in working with a progressive plot, he couldn't have been in it for all that long, but
I was surprised how. I mean, okay, so spoiler alert for Knock at the Cabin. I guess base level thoughts. First of all, I thought it was actually good and like the best M. Night movie since Split.
I had a really good time with it.
Yeah.
I can't even say base level now because the other day Chris was just reading some sort of like article about it's based on a book. You know what M. Night likes to do, like base his stuff on books. And the ending to the book is so much better than the movie that I was actually pissed off more knowing that now.
The book does have a far better ending.
Yeah, I think it should have. If it ended how it did in the book, I think I would have loved this movie.
Interesting.
But it didn't, and therefore it was fine.
Yeah, I mean, not knowing what the ending of the book was, I was still happy with what happened in the movie.
Yeah.
See, do you know what? I was kind of, I think I went out of it, and I think I just like, I didn't process it enough. And I was like, actually, it wasn't that bad in hindsight, to be honest. It wasn't that bad.
All right,
but
then,
like,
so slight spoilers then for Knock at the Cabin. What happens in the book?
What happens in the book? So they get to, so you know Dave Bautista does his thing where he dies, right?
Dave Bautista dies, yes.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure, I'm looking at Chris now because I can't remember if I'm going to say this correctly. But what was supposed to happen was that they ended up killing the little girl dies.
Yeah,
but they don't kill her. She dies by accident.
Yeah, I think Dave Bautista accidentally, or his character accidentally shoots her.
So she dies, and because she wasn't a sacrifice, the deal's obviously not met. So they then try and decide, but they can't come to a conclusion. So they take the little girl, and they're just like in the car or whatever. And I think one of the others actually ends up dying, and then they don't know whether the apocalypse ever finished or if it carried on. But I can't remember if that's for something
like that. It seems like
really
they never
similar.
actually confirm or deny whether what the guys were saying actually is real or not.
But
yeah,
I
that would have been better.
Yeah, I would have preferred that. But like, I guess it's probably not M. Night's style to kill off small children. She was really cute, by the way. Like,
It's also not M. Night's style to sort of leave things ambiguous.
No,
he likes his twist at the end.
Yeah.
So I'm always thinking, when's that twist going to happen, M. Night? I don't think this one had a twist, though.
No, it didn't.
I feel like the twist was like the obvious guess. It was like, those were the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. It was like, yeah, it was so fucking obvious what it was.
I don't think that's a twist. That's just like
No,
the
that's what.
subtext of the movie.
I mean, like, but if I was going to pretend that it had a twist, that's what I feel like that twist
they
was
were a
meant to
metaphor.
be. Yeah, but like, it was so obvious what it was. Whoa, these 4 people have come and they've told us the world's ending, as if it wasn't really obvious.
I think what I like the most about the movie is it just kind of, it's not trying to be like that. It's not filled with twists. It's not like trying to take loads of like shocking turns or anything. It just feels like a very straightforward thriller. It's kind of like, I think M. Night really plays to his strengths and just kind of does what he does best when it comes to making just a fun thriller movie.
M. Night finally going, do you know what? I'm going to play out a character here and not do a twist in my movie.
It doesn't feel
That'll be
like
the twist.
as like egotistical some of his other movies can feel, where he like tries to cram it through with all of this like crazy stuff going on. It just feels very like just basic, and I think it works in its favor.
It's pretty contained.
I feel like he was just trying to like direct actors to like, get some good performances out of them.
Which
you
isn't
got Dave
a
Bautista
problem,
doing like really, really well in this.
He was fun, but not fun in the way that you think fun is. I just thought he was. I don't know. I just wanted to like give him a hug, and I was like, "Well,
he's
am
like
I
a big,
supposed to?"
muscly guy, and you sort of equate him to like, oh, he's one of those Guardians of the Galaxy, or like when you hire Dave Bautista, he's like a huge guy
Because he was a wrestler, right?
Yeah, because he was a wrestler.
Yeah,
he's like in the same sort of group as like The Rock, but the difference being Dave Bautista's good and The Rock is not. And you know, and he can actually do. He has some range. So when he's not doing like punching people, or he's like in a James Bond movie and like slicing people's throats or whatever, he can do these other performances, and this one's a really sort of stripped back type of one because he's not like storming around and screaming or whatever. It's a lot more laid back, and he's like, yeah, I don't really want to have to do this, guys. Like, it kind of sucks, but I'm gonna do it anyway because otherwise the world will end.
I think the thing with him is he likes playing characters.
Yeah,
he must do. Which probably would actually kind of back up Max's point there, because anything I've ever seen The Rock in, hasn't he always played like the same
He is just
character?
himself.
Yeah, but is that actually him, or is it? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, wow, that I've seen that character in this movie, that movie, the other movie. Like, he only ever does like one type of movie, right?
Yeah, look, it's The Rock, but with Dave Bautista, he's playing somebody else.
Yeah, like you wouldn't go, oh, I mean, you would go, oh, that's Dave Bautista, but you wouldn't go, that's
He's got
Dave
a good
Bautista.
voice for it, I think, as well, for like those more subtle roles like in this or like in 2049, it's quite soft, but like dark in tone, and
Yeah.
I think he does play that very well.
It's like
There's a subtlety to it.
it's like heavy, but it's also like you're not scared.
Yeah, that's why he's one of my favourite characters in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, because like when you meet him in the first one, he is like this big, like tough, like guy who's there to kill this bad guy to get revenge. And as the movies go on, he definitely softens up quite a lot, and you get through that tough exterior.
Yeah, he gives me the vibe that he's like a proper softie, like in real life, not just in this movie, but like
Seems like a nice guy. Yeah. Who else is in this? There's a lot of like people I didn't really know in this, but I thought that worked in the movie's favor. Really.
Yeah, there's nothing.
When you're like bombarded with a bunch of people,
Especially
like
when they're
Dave Bautista
famous.
and Ron Weasley. Yeah,
That's what you see, though,
Look,
isn't
it's
it?
fucking Drax and Ronald Weasley. That didn't take me out of it though, because they were playing different characters, and Rupert Grint was putting on like an accent, an American accent, so he kind of differentiated himself from like other roles he played in that way.
I prefer
and although
that
he didn't like show up for all that much of it, I do think he put on a good performance. And it's kind of weird, like it's kind of like fucked up what happens in the movie, I think, and it's like, oh man, you kind of don't want these people to die, really, or you want more character from them as well before they die, at least, and you want to like just squeeze that. So I think the fact that his character was very loud and rude, you kind of got a lot of what he was about from the short amount of time that he was in the movie, and that was basically it.
I mean, I
maybe
feel like
if he'd have been in the movie a bit more, it probably would have annoyed me, perhaps, because he was very boisterous.
I felt like it was kind of warranted though. Like if you think about why they're there, and like how frustrating it must be to be like, do you know what? These people are going to be the reason that I die. I think I'd be pretty pissed off as well. I don't know, but then it's impossible, isn't it? Really, if you think about it, there's no winners in a situation like this. I don't know what kind of fucked up mind created this story in the first place, but like, I don't know.
You're like the husband's being like, you guys, you targeted us because we're gay. I don't know a lot about the book. I'm sure there's probably in it a lot.
Maybe.
But they're like,
I think
no,
that is a big part of it.
Yeah.
They're like, we didn't even know, man. Like, this is just something that happened. But I quite like that they had like grouped themselves together, and they're like, yeah, we met on like Craigslist or whatever, and we saw an ad and we got together on like a barge or whatever. But it just happened that like the character that Rupert Grint played was like, he had once targeted this exact couple in a bar one time, and they were like, this is a setup. So like the whole time the movie's like trying to dissuade you from the idea that these people are right and that they know what's happening because they've had visions. So when they turn the news on, everyone's like, the news is going crazy and everyone's dying and there's a tsunami or whatever. And it very convincingly kind of tries to throw you for a loop.
Yeah.
Where they're saying like, well, I don't believe you because you could have just pre-recorded. This is probably pre-recorded. You knew when the schedule was going to be. And all this, like, I'm a lawyer. I know these things. And it was kind of trying to play with you like that, I thought. So I kind of wanted more of that as opposed to the ending where it's like, and they were right and everything was true. And oh, man.
Oh, you like a bit of mindfuckery,
I would have wanted a bit more ambiguity about it.
Definitely same.
I think that's why the ending would have been better if it had the original ending to play into, because I'm always ragging on films for not telling me what the whole point of things is. But I guess in this instance, maybe I don't want to know. Maybe I don't want them to go to a cafe and find out that the apocalypse stopped. Maybe I don't want that.
There's a fine line between like having ambiguity in a movie because there's something that the audience needs to read into and just not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
Just not knowing what the point of it all was. If you need to read into a movie, like something like, I don't know, like Hereditary or whatever, the point is that they don't tell you everything that's going on in that movie. And you have to figure it out for yourself. And that's what makes it more interesting to go back and watch. But this one, because everything's fed to you, and you're like, oh, that was that. Okay. I don't need to go back and watch this.
No, that is true. I don't think you would ever have to watch this film more than once. If you didn't really
it definitely
need
does
to.
take out the rewatchability.
Mm-hmm.
It does. But then I
think that's a shame, though. Because it's a good movie. I quite happily watch it again, but probably not for the reasons that I would want to. You know?
Oh, well, just because it's a fun
Yeah,
film
it's
rather
pretty
than
fun.
the fact
It's
that
I don't know if I would
There's
watch
nothing
it
new.
again. I feel like I got everything out of it the first
Oh,
time.
yeah, I
It was just like a
definitely- I
fun
definitely
like
would.
popcorn flick, and that was kind of about it.
Oh yeah, I definitely wouldn't watch it again out of choice. I don't know if someone was like, I don't know in a scenario when this would ever come up, but I don't know if someone came over one day and said, "Wow, I got Knock on the Cabin in Blu-ray. Let's watch it." I'd be like, "Oh, I guess." If you've
I'd say
already
yes, because I'm probably more going back for like the performances.
Yeah, they were really good.
Yeah.
I think on a technical level, it's also a really well made movie.
Yeah.
M. Night, like even his worst movies, I think he always likes to be creative with his camera movements and his camera work.
Sometimes it works.
Yeah, I think it works
You
really
remember,
well
like-
in this.
Like Old, where he just like swoop the camera around and it like
Yeah,
I forget what he was doing with it, but it was like really slow or something.
yeah. And
It
old
looked
is
horrible.
like some of it is like really creative and cool, but most of it is lame. Whereas I
Yeah.
think in this, everything looks really cool and
It was like
interesting.
digital panning in that movie or something, or
Yeah.
digital zooms.
Maybe he's
Just
just
always like it's kind of gross to look at
he's
when
just
it's
not afraid
noticeable.
though, is he? Like that's what I like about him. He's not afraid to just go, "Do you know what? Fuck it, let's give it a go."
Yeah, that's the thing with him.
I respect it.
I don't think any of his movies he completely plays it safe.
He can't. He's
Well,
M. Night Shyamalan.
Like, safe in what way? Because do you think like he's ever at a point where he's like, I want to do this movie, and the studio's like, no thanks, M. Night.
No, because he has to fund his own movies because
Yeah,
no one
he
will
does.
hire him.
He funds all of his own movies himself.
Really? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
and that's another thing I respect about him. He's obviously doing it for the love of the craft, and I respect
That's
any.
great.
No
Yeah.
matter how I feel about the movie, I
Because
respect
he had
that.
so many huge flops now, Hollywood won't hire him.
Yeah, so
so
he
he
has to
does fund
pay
everything
along.
himself with his own money. And then
That is strange.
Yeah,
he
I
does
respect
really,
it. Honest
he's
to God.
like the last decade, I think since The Last Airbender, he's done like pretty much every single film has been a big success. So he's making loads of money.
yeah,
And
you'd
they're all
think
very low budget movies as well. So
you'd think by now though someone would go, okay, I think we can let M Night back in now because he's made like 4 successful movies.
I think it could happen at some point, but I don't know if he would want that now. He seems pretty content doing what he's
well,
doing.
he gets the freedom to do what he wants now, I
Yeah,
guess, because
exactly.
he does whatever the fuck he wants.
And he could get anyone he wanted to
Yeah, if he
be in
pays
his
them,
movies
yeah.
as well.
Yeah,
he's
sure,
one of those
fuck
directors.
it.
I think anyone would want to work with him. He's like
Yeah.
a big name.
I think I reckon he'd be quite fun to work with, even if
I
the
think he
film
would,
is
yeah.
shit. I reckon it'd be quite fun. He gives me the vibes that he's a fun guy.
He's a fun guy.
You know,
Popped up in this movie on like an advert for like a
an air
like a
fryer.
an air fryer.
Stop it! That
Yeah,
on
killed
the
me
TV.
off.
Darcy laughed because, like, I think the same day I
was the
bought
exact
myself
same
an
day.
air fryer for like weeks prior. I was like saying about how I wanted to get one, and I was really
And
excited
the
to get
first
one.
thing he made in it was chicken, and this
Yeah.
fucking M Night's doing this advert on an air fryer about chicken, and I just couldn't stop laughing. It was so funny to
It's
me.
good chicken, to be fair.
It was pretty stupid. I don't think it would have been something that you would have laughed at for like any other reason. Like I was laughing, and we were with Connor, weren't we?
Yeah.
And Connor just looked at me like, "What the fuck are you laughing at?" And I was like, "Oh, don't worry." Like, because it wasn't funny. That's the thing.
I guess I don't know because I'm within the zeitgeist of film and M. Night Shyamalan and what he means and what he does. But like, do you think that a lot of people see directed by M. Night Shyamalan and go, "Oh, I don't think I'll see that then," or
I
do
think
they go,
do.
"Oh, I really want to see that"?
I think it's a
bit
mixture of both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think M Night is a bit like Marmite. I actually think people either see it and go, "That has to be
I
seen,"
love The Sixth Sense. I love
Yeah.
Unbreakable. I love
Signs.
Signs.
or someone
I'm
would
gonna
go,
go see that, or they go,
"I fucking
"Oh, the
hated
guy
the
who did
village."
The Last Airbender and The Village and Old. No
Mm.
thanks."
Yeah, I don't think that's a very fair testament, though, is it? Because like there are there are a couple of directors out there that have made a maybe notable miss in their career. I don't know what. I guess because M Night's done more, and he did the most shameful movie of
Yeah.
all time, supposedly. But it's not very fair.
He has done the
Yeah.
worst movie I've ever seen.
It's
yeah.
not fair.
One of the worst movies
I
I've ever
think
seen.
he's one of the only directors around at the moment who is basically a household name. Like, even
Yeah.
if you're not like a hardcore cinephile, you know
You would
his
have
name.
heard of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've not really had anyone like that for years. Like, Spielberg's the only one I can really think of like that.
Probably.
Yeah. Especially if you're not an avid movie person, because there's going to be like loads of directors that you won't even know the name of, if that makes sense. But M Night,
I
everyone
think
just goes,
Jordan
yeah,
Peele's
M. Night.
going up there.
Oh yeah,
A
definitely.
lot of people. I think he's one that you like slap his name on there and they'll be like, I'm gonna go see that.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, I feel like that's an our generation thing. I feel like,
Perhaps, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
you know what I mean?
The new one.
The new one.
The new one, yeah.
Bit like a directed. What was it? Directed M by Night Shyamalan. Do you know what?
And by night.
Do you know what? I'll tell you this now, right? I have never been offended so much by a title scene credit than the beginning of Knock at the Cabin. Like, I'm actually not even joking when I say this. As a designer, I have never been more offended by a title sequence of letters in my whole life.
The way it was like layered on the screen in the opening, it said directed M Night by Shyamalan. And then at the ending, terrible. It looked like it said directed M by Night Shyamalan.
But it was like that with everything. So like people's names were coming up and they were all like fucked up looking, and I was like, this is horrible. Wow. I hate this so much.
And I'm gonna give this one 7 M by Night Shyamalans. It was really good.
Yeah,
I'm there also. 7 out of 10. It was a good movie.
6.5 M by Night Shyamalan lambs out of 10.
Nice, I like that.
I look forward to seeing what he does next.
Every time he makes a movie, I'm in the cinema, I'm seeing it, I need to be there.
To be fair, the second I saw it, and it sounds so bad, but the second I saw the trailer, I went, actually, I think I would.
I didn't watch the trailer.
It was him,
I didn't know anything about this movie. I just knew it was an M. Night movie and I was there. I've seen every single one of his films since Split in the cinema.
Actually, yeah, I think that's a lie.
To everyone.
I think I saw what it was, and then it said by M. Night Shyamalan. I went, oh fuck, I got to see that, because I just for me, I think it's the what is it going to be? I think that's what most people go for,
it's
right?
Like a mystery box, right?
What's it going to be? What's M. Night going to do this time? You okay then? Like, we got these cheese crackers, and Chris looked like he was struggling to get them. These are addictive, by the way. You eat one and you end up eating about 60 of them.
Right, great. Everyone go out for the cheese crackers.
Yeah.
What's the Aldi?
Wait, hold on. I can only think
cheese
of
crackers.
Do you want one? I can only think of one other movie that we saw. What was the third movie we got to talk about? My brain
what
is...
was the next one? Was it The Whale?
The next one is The Whale. It has to be The Whale,
Babylon was the other one.
Babylon was the other one.
Oh, okay. Babylon. Okay, The Whale. The Wali.
Who wants to explain that in rigorous detail?
I don't even have my phone, so there is no way I'm talking about any of these movies today.
The Whale, directed by Darren Aronofsky. We've spoken about some of his movies before. Did a whole episode about him.
Yeah. Great director.
Yeah, he is. The movie stars Brendan Fraser, who he's a teacher. He does online lectures basically. He is a very obese man who, as the film's going on, he's basically dying from heart failure. So as he knows he's only got a few days, maybe a week left, he wants to reconnect with his estranged daughter, who he's not seen since he came out as gay.
I think this was fucked.
This is a big oof movie.
Out.
It was very sad, yeah. It was very upsetting and depressing.
There was no answer joy, was there?
That
to be honest.
4:3 aspect ratio, I think it was in. Might be wrong.
What, like a square?
Yeah, it was like a square.
It was a bit, wasn't it?
If I were to guess, I would say 4:3.
Yeah, I think it was that. I didn't know. That was an interesting surprise.
That was interesting because I didn't know that was going to happen. So when you see Brendan Fraser, and he is as big as he is, takes up the whole frame.
I think that maybe that's maybe that's on purpose.
I feel like that's what they did.
Yeah, definitely.
Just makes him look huge. Makes him look like even bigger than he would. Like definitely more rotund than he would if he was in 16 by 9. So you get that sense of like claustrophobia. I think with every kind of shot that he's in. He's in this like dingy apartment. You can't leave. You can't get up. You can't do anything. It's just a sad movie. Watching this guy eat himself to death, and he does not ever want to get better. And that's what makes it upsetting to me.
Yeah, the film's very desaturated as well. So just like the mood, like the look of the film, it just adds to that mood.
It
It's
is.
just pure depression.
It is like I was talking to someone about this, like the day after or the day after we saw it, and I was like, there is no ounce of joy in this movie, and I wish I could tell you otherwise, but it's a fantastic movie, so please go and see it, but also prepare to be depressed. But
Yeah.
I don't know, if you've ever... I was talking to Chris about this on the way home. If you ever have watched his other movies, I don't think this man has any sense of happiness in his life whatsoever. So I don't know what to tell. Not in his life, but in his movies, he's the most depressing shit.
Who?
Aronofsky.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Sorry, I should have specified that. Yeah, no, it's absolutely like feral. But I don't really have a problem with
He's
it.
probably one of the happiest guys out there.
Probably.
He's writing like children's books, you know?
I fucking said this to Chris. I said, these movies are cathartic, right? Because people like that are able to express that kind of thing through their medium. Therefore, they don't need therapy.
You see what he's doing on the side? He's like making children's books.
Is he actually?
Yeah,
See?
like really vibrant children's books.
See,
That's
this man must be like so healthy just through his like
he's one of the best.
ambitions whatsoever. You know what I
He's
mean?
one of the best
Yeah, he's
ones.
one of my favourite directors.
This is the first movie I've seen of his in the cinema, so that was a
Yeah,
great.
same actually.
I'm going to say same
Great
because I don't know.
experience. Yeah.
So I'm just going to say same.
No, very interesting. So Brendan Fraser is back.
Yeah.
Back on
Yeah.
the screens. That's a big point about this movie, I think, is why people want to go see it. Brendan Fraser's back. Aronofsky is very well known for getting actors and being like, I'm bringing you back. Did it with like
Mickey Rourke for the wrestler.
And he's really good in it. I think he's been out of the game for a while, but it's like, God damn, you wouldn't have known it really because he plays it so well.
Yeah, he hasn't stopped acting. It's just pretty much everything he's done's been really tiny indie movies that no one's heard of or what. So this is like his first like movie in years where it's got like a big studio behind it. It's like A24 made
Yeah,
it.
I think it is.
Big director.
Do you know what? Fair play to him though, because, and this is going to sound really weird, right? Because I know Brendan Fraser's not exactly like a big guy himself, kind of, but like obviously not to the degree that he is in the movie. You know what I mean? Let me anyway, but
Yeah, God, no.
like I can't imagine anyone else playing it. Like you know what I mean? Like I can't think. Oh, someone else would have definitely been better as this guy. I don't even know his name in the movie. That's really bad.
Well, Aronofsky's like really great at that, though, isn't he?
Is this what he's doing? He's just like
this is the
headhunting.
character that
this
I
is
want
for
to
him.
put on screen, and this is like for you because nobody else could have played it.
It's that's mad to
Yeah.
me. Like he must have some like sixth sense when it comes to like he just looks at it and goes, "That is."
I was really intrigued
You.
going into the movie because I liked Brendan Fraser like growing up. Like I liked him in those Mummy movies and stuff like that. But I never like looked at him and thought, oh, that's like a really great actor. I always thought he was like a fun, like
or like kids actor
charismatic sort of like blockbuster star sort of thing. But he is terrific in this movie. He is so good.
He's an onion, baby.
One of the best performances of the year.
Yeah,
For sure.
definitely.
I don't think I've ever seen a movie with him in it, but I obviously know about him. Oh, you know what I have seen? Inkheart.
What?
Oh,
Inkheart. I've actually
shit,
heard
yeah.
of that.
I know about Inkheart.
No,
Yeah.
I read those books as a kid, so I wanted to see that movie. I think I saw that in the cinema actually.
so maybe you have.
that
Yeah,
was
so
like the
maybe
only
you have
movie
seen.
I saw of him. His
Didn't watch Furry Vengeance.
don't know what
are
that
you
is.
talking about?
Furry Vengeance. It's like Home Alone sort of thing, but it's like animals attacking this guy.
No,
Wow,
never heard of it.
Wow, from
But obviously,
Furry
I've heard of
Vengeance
Brendan
to
Fraser because he's a big name and he's a big guy in this.
I
He's
actually-
huge.
How? God, obviously, I know it's a fat
Really
suit,
great
right? Don't get me wrong.
effects. Just
But yeah, like,
fantastic.
how?
Seamless.
makeup.
Seamless makeup and effects.
In it, like you wouldn't have even guessed that
the
he
fat
wasn't
suit,
fat.
like crazy stuff going on here. It looks so good.
Yeah, it does.
And he plays it so well. Like the acting with like just the physicality of it. It's insane.
Just really like subtle, like little things like his breathing and
Mhm.
the way he like reacts and talks and moves and stuff. It's just, he completely transforms into this character.
Yeah, he'll need to like take a breath, like a really long breath after just like speaking. because you would.
Yeah.
And just the fact that he just didn't want to get better was very upsetting, and to see him like gorge himself on food was really very unsettling.
Yeah,
and especially it was definitely supposed to be unsettling, and the fact that it was called like the whale is like likening it to like Moby Dick, and this thread with Moby Dick, I suppose he was supposed to reflect parts of that book.
Yeah.
And like whenever he would like gorge himself on food, or he'd like order 2 pizzas at a time and fucking eat 2 slices with mayonnaise at a time.
Yeah.
No,
and like more ham
Grape
at a
jelly
time
as well.
No, stop
Horrible.
it. That scene almost
they play
had me.
like Jaws-esque type music, or like really somber music over it, and it's like, this is supposed to tear your heart out.
Do you know what? It just made me feel like it was almost like gross out, but it wasn't. I know it wasn't, but it was like you. All you can hear is like the lip smacking and like the
It was
jelly.
gross out.
Oh, it was fucking
It was like,
horrific.
oh god.
Well, it's
I
like,
was sitting there like I was sitting there with like my fucking like hands in my face, like I cannot watch this. It's so.
it's basically just a
awful.
movie about like self-abuse.
Yeah.
Like the
Oh, it was
character just
horrible.
thinks so lowly of himself. He's depressed. He like lost the person he loved the most. He's got no relationship with his daughter because of his decisions, and he's like,
And the church.
yeah,
Oh,
and he's
it's
like
so
regressing that, and just kind of he doesn't think he's worth anything, so he's just completely abusing himself and destroying himself.
Oh man, honestly, like the more I think about the movie, the more I'm just like, this like director, this man, right? He's going on my list of films you can only watch once. Yeah, Darren.
Yeah,
Darren, you're going on my list of films you can only watch once, man. 'cause,
every one
like,
of his films.
Requiem for
No,
a Dream.
not
Why
true.
did I do that again? I did that to myself.
Not true.
No, I can't watch them again. Nah, it's just I get it. The thing is, I love it, and I really like him. I fucking love him, but I just don't have the willpower to do that, man. Like I came out of that film
It's
and I
heavy
just thought,
stuff. No pun
I-
intended.
yeah,
Mhm.
like I'm done. Like, you know, it's like I remember ages ago we were talking about this thing where it's like you watch the film and then you immediately need to go to bed. This was one of
Yeah,
those
definitely.
movies I thought I can't do this right now. But I think it just speaks volumes about how like great this guy is at making movies, I guess, because like
Yeah.
it's like it just hurt, man. Like there was not a single part of it that wasn't like just
He has a lot to say.
yeah,
Yeah.
like you can't catch
In
a
every
break in
movie,
this
it's
movie.
like,
yeah.
this guy has a lot to say.
He does.
Why haven't you run out of things to say yet, Darren?
He just keeps finding shit to
Yeah,
pluck
yeah.
out the woodwork. He's like, let's fucking
A lot
talk
of
about
commentary.
this.
Yeah, I'm mad about like church or whatever, or like religion and organized religion, and
Mm.
how it kind of tears people apart at times, or like these different sort of sects of different religious cults who degrade people, and the fact that they were a gay couple, and that was the reason that his boyfriend killed himself was because of the church, and they kind of ousted him, and I guess it was sort of like breaking the waves in that way, where they shunned him from the
Yeah.
community, and he had no choice, but he had like nothing outside of that, so he killed himself, and then ended up in Brendan Fraser's character slowly eating himself to death, and it was just like the toll that would take on you to be part of something that huge, just to like have to be taken out of it like that, probably take a massive toll on you.
Yeah, and this
Yeah.
see stuff like this gets me like proper like riled up because I'm just
Because they're gonna riled up, baby.
I think what makes the film so effective as well is just how it like slowly like reveals the information to you, like how it slowly develops this character and reveals more and more like elements and like parts of the story that makes him sadder like as the film goes on, and it just kind of, it's almost like one thing makes you upset and then they're like, yeah, but also there's this, and it like hits you even harder. And it's just like,
it
it's
never lets
non-stop.
up, man. Like you never have a moment to just ease up. You know, you never have a moment to just go, okay.
Yeah,
'Cause
these
you're
people are
just-
experts, you know, and
It's-
it's so easily
Fuck.
could have been like, here's this guy, he's fat, everyone hates him, but everybody really liked him, and he was like a really nice guy, and to see
Oh
him
my
eat himself to
God.
death was sad because he was a really nice guy and he wanted to
Yeah.
help and he wanted to do good things, and to see like his daughter again was like really lovely for him, and he saw like the world in her, but all she did was degrade him and call him fat and obese, like, and just like disgusting. And it's like, there's a way to go about that, but she was obviously not a very nice person. And he was like, no, I'll just give you like a load of money and I'll do your essays for you and that'll make you like me. Like, if you have all this money, why don't you just go to the hospital, get surgery?
Because it was for her. That's basically the argument
sort of
the
that,
film,
but it was
really.
also, yeah, I guess it was like, he knew that he was going to die anyway, sort of, like, unless he got that, but it was like, well, he cares about himself so little that he might as well just like give it to her because he's not going to do anything with it because he hates himself. And what does he have left now that like his boyfriend has killed himself and his family's estranged from him? He has absolutely nothing, or he feels like he has absolutely nothing. But what we see in the movie is that people care about him so much. And the turmoil is that they hate it that he's not doing anything about his situation, and you hate it along with them. You're like, dude, just fucking do something about it. Just like whenever he like gorges himself on food, and it happens like a couple of times where it's like it really goes in with it. You're like, oh Jesus Christ, this is
there's like
hard.
a really great sequence where his like ex-wife like shows up and they start interacting, and she's like clearly heartbroken seeing how he is.
I think it would though, wouldn't it? Like legit, if you broke up with someone and you saw them in a state like that, wouldn't you? I think it'd be natural to be like, wow, this is fucked.
Yeah,
like beyond fucked.
Because she really cared about him. They obviously shared a life together.
Yeah,
before he like left for his boyfriend, I guess. So it's obviously hard to see somebody that you cared so much about do that to themselves. Yeah. Oh, I'd be sad if any of my friends or family did that to themselves. Like it's horrible to see. It's framed so bloody well, like just through that lens, you know, because it's not just about like how he's seeing things. You get a few people coming in and being like, oh, okay, this sucks actually. Got like that pizza guy who like comes to the door, but he never sees him. He's just like, leave the money. I've left the money in the letterbox. Go, let's just take that. It's a great scene where like he sees him for the first time. Like, oh man.
Yeah, he's literally, he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I knew he was going to be there, but it still kind of threw me off a little bit. I was like, oh fuck, he's there. But I knew he was going to be there because they did that thing, you know, where they stay on a shot for too long. And I was like, he's there, isn't he? And it's just like, he's like, I thought he said something like, I thought he was like saying some chant, like, you know, like some prayer or something when he saw him. And I was like, fuck me. Like,
I was reading an analysis of like some of the movie, and someone was saying that they thought that scene was like, that character was God judging him.
The pizza guy.
Yeah.
Well, I thought he was genuinely saying a prayer for him. So I don't know. I not too hard pressed to convince me it could have been God.
I mean, you got that kid who comes in a lot.
Yeah.
The New Life guy.
The New Life Church. He was a weird one.
Yeah, I don't remember his name either.
He sort of wanted to help him, but he also couldn't get off the fact that God was going to save him, or like God was the answer to what he needed to get better. And obviously, having been a part of that church himself, Brendan Fraser's character, it was like, he already knows that nothing good is going to come of it. And to see this other kid sort of possibly going in the same direction that he went in, or like I don't know really what it was trying to say. Maybe it was like trying to be like, yeah, you could so easily just have this happen to you. You know, you don't know because you're very young and impressionable. And when he has the opportunity to go back to his family, and that they say that, oh yeah, he said that he ran away, and then when they said that they were taken back, he goes back in a heartbeat. So who's to say that he's not going to end up like him eventually? Who knows?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, maybe.
What do we think about? Let's just come back to me. There was a bird that kept coming to the window to eat off of a plate. What was that about? Do we think? Sorry to throw you under the bus. I don't know what it was about. I don't really know. But I know it meant something.
It must
have meant something.
I just thought it was quite, I don't know, I thought it was kind of sweet in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost like the only positive thing he's got.
Yeah, it gave me the sense that it was like a little window into like how nice this guy actually is, because he's like, because supposedly everyone sees him as like this positive guy, even though he's like, he hates himself, but he doesn't hate life. If that makes sense, he hates his life,
and
but he doesn't hate
himself.
life. Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah.
the bird was like a juxtaposition between something that could fly away, or like that was the only thing you could care about, because it wasn't like couldn't really care about humans in that way.
Yeah, because he was like feeding the bird every day, pretty much, or was leaving it
Mm-hmm.
water or something. I don't remember what it was. Either way, it had a
Yeah, he
plate of
was feeding it.
something, and I thought, oh, I don't know. I just thought it made. I don't know. It was just kind of like, oh, he's a sweet guy, isn't he? Like feeding this little
Mhm.
friendly bird. Maybe it was also
Mhm.
like companionship, because he didn't really see anyone other than that nurse lady who was that boyfriend's sister.
Yeah, his boyfriend's sister.
So the birdie coming by was
Yeah.
quite nice, I guess. Also, there was like no fucking windows in that place apart from this one that had the birdie in it. Pretty much.
Sort of, yeah. Well, it
Yeah.
was very dark and dingy.
Yeah, he lives in a basement flat like us. The kicker is he doesn't live in a basement flat.
Yeah.
Like first floor, but it was always like overcast outside.
yeah. It's very
a
miserable
very drab
looking, yeah.
environment.
And it's raining quite a lot of the time in the
Oh,
film as
yeah.
well.
It's a very claustrophobic film as well, I think. The whole film is set in this one apartment. It was
Mhm.
based off a play, and it does kind of feel that way because it is
It does.
very
It's like The
minimal
Father.
locations,
Mm.
very long like monologues and stretches of dialogues.
Maybe that's like what plays are, though.
Yeah.
Like The Whale is a play, or The Father, The Humans. These were all based off plays.
Sure.
Oh, it has to start with
and they're all set in
yeah.
like one location.
Yeah.
The same guy doing them.
So the film, like,
writing every single
a
one.
lot of the film does kind of feel like a jumping off point for the actors, just to kind of show off their talents.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
wonder how like set within the play this film actually
Yeah.
is.
Well, it's written by the person who wrote the play.
Mm.
Oh yeah, you said this before. Shit.
I don't know if they literally just took the
tried to
play
adapt
and
it.
adapted it as a movie and didn't change a lot, but who knows?
To be
Possible.
fair, it did feel that way though, didn't it? No,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It did feel like a play, but I wasn't looking at it as a play because I didn't know it was a play. I went in knowing that it was from a play and thought, yeah, I could see this being a play. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
It was a wise decision to get Aronofsky in on it to direct it, because sometimes, like with Florian Zeller for The Father, or the one who did The Humans, they directed the movie of the play that they made.
That's good though, I
Yeah.
think, right?
But this is very much like an Aronofsky type of joint.
Yeah,
it
he
is
added his
directed in
own
such a way to be
thing
like,
to it.
yeah, this is like well up his alley. You know, it very much feels like his own movie, despite that writing, which is obviously from the original playwright. But I think they work very well together, and all the acting is like really on point as well. Sadie Sink was really good.
Yeah,
We've
I
seen
thought she
in,
was great.
Yeah.
Stranger Things.
That's the one.
One of those guys. To see her in an Aronofsky movie was like, oh whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really
And she is
bizarre, but not bad
fantastic.
thing.
Yeah.
Hong Chau's really good as well. I think she was nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, I think she was.
The nurse lady.
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah, she was
really
great
good.
actually.
I think I actually did prefer Sadie Sink though. So it's a shame not that
Yeah.
she didn't get a nomination.
Yeah, I got to admit, I
Maybe
do
a bit
think
too
she's
big of a
better.
stretch to nominate a child.
I don't know. Happens sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
but,
deserved it. It was
yeah,
a really
but-
good performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know how
But
it is.
Historically, I don't know if
Yeah.
the Oscars do that kind of thing.
No, they can't. They can't allow it. They won't allow it.
not been in
You
it
know
for
how
enough.
it is. Yeah.
If we admit this child is as good as the adults who have been doing it for 50 plus years, but
Well, They
Yeah, I know,
never,
it's a bit
they never
shit,
win,
really.
but they regularly will nominate a child. I think the most recent one was, I think, Jacob Tremblay for Room. I think he was nominated.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but isn't
Abigail
he quite-
Breslin for Little Miss Sunshine was nominated.
Yeah, but they're
Mm.
all really young, right? So is the caveat
Yeah,
here? You
maybe.
either have to be stupidly young or an actual adult.
Yeah,
If you're
if you're
in
like
between,
20,
yeah,
then
if you're in
you're
between
too-
ages, you can get fucked.
Yeah.
Because it's like, wow,
You're not old
Um,
enough or young enough to
yeah,
be
like that
nominated.
kid in the room was probably like
Yeah.
6 or 7 or something,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh my god, he's 7 and he's great. Of course, you're gonna
Yeah.
nominate him. Do you know what I mean?
Perhaps.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at it from. I'm going at it from an angle of, oh, they can do better later on. You know, that's what I'm coming at it from. Not that, if you actually see the movie, she's actually amazing, but
Mhm.
you know what I mean.
She's
I
so
think
mean.
that's
Yeah.
she's a dickhead, but in hindsight, if you think about what's happened to her in her life and the fact that she's a bit of a loner and she's a teenage girl, remind you that I also have been here before. It made sense to me. I was like, she's a dick, but I totally understand.
Yeah, I mean, I never considered her to be like a really terrible person. I thought she was just a hormonal teenager.
Yeah, she's just misunderstood.
Yeah.
That's what I hate saying that because people go, oh, they just misunderstood. But in this instance, I actually think that she was.
My mother was like, she's evil. She's
not
pure evil. Like, no, she's not.
No.
Yeah, and he's like always backing her up, and he's like, she's an incredible writer. And everyone's just like, what do you mean she's an incredible writer? And then there's obviously the reveal that she wrote that essay that he wanted to have read to him as he died.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh my god, yeah. I like that little that's the M. Night Shyamalan twist of this movie.
I also like the bit where he's just like, just write whatever you want, and she just writes a thing about the apartment being disgusting, and he reads it a few times and he realizes it's an haiku.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, because he keeps counting syllables.
She's horrible the whole time to him, and it's just he's constantly she's amazing, she's brilliant.
I think that's what kind of solidifies my love for this man. It's just he's just so cute, but he's sad, and
because he does hate himself a lot, but he's like, I made that.
Yeah.
That's my daughter. That's insane.
Yeah, but I think, do you know what? I swear, most parents say that. I've heard so many parents say things like, "Oh, my kids were the only good thing I ever did," or "My child is the best thing that's ever happened to me," or
there was that.
Do you know what I mean? It's
where he's really
it's a normal
upset.
reaction. Supposedly, I don't fucking know. We don't have kids.
I don't know.
See what I mean? Yeah,
parents say anything like that.
But
there's that bit where he's really upset, and he's like, "You need to let me know that I've done at least one good thing in my life," or something like that.
Yeah, cause I assume that comes from a parent's perspective. Because like I said, I'm not a parent, but I've heard it so many times that kids are the best thing ever. I beg to differ, but apparently I feel different. Apparently, so I don't fucking know.
There's one criticism I do have of the movie. It's the music. I thought that could be a little bit cheesy or heavy-handed at points. Felt like a lot of it was really emotionally manipulative, and
it felt like it was you're meant to feel sad now.
Yeah, and the problem is, I think it would have worked fine without the music, or if it was a little bit more subtle, because what was happening was really upsetting and sad. I think the music just kind of almost feels like it's prodding you to cry. That's kind of
how the ending felt for me. It was we don't need this.
Yeah, well, I didn't cry, all right, Aronofsky. So there we go.
I
just felt very sad and hollow at the end. Yeah. So how about that?
That's kind of how I felt. I kind of felt, oh, fucking hell. But at the same time, it was almost I don't know if you guys felt it, but I kind of felt relieved when it was over. Yeah. I was like, oh, thank God for that, because now I don't have to feel this heavy burden of this movie anymore.
Yeah, I got up and I felt lighter.
Yeah. Yeah, you just feel the world's been lifted off.
I'm not carrying around that much weight. I was
oh my God. I'm so glad it wasn't just me. I thought fucking when it ended, I was like, I need to run.
Yeah.
I need to get out of it. Oh my God. But that's what makes a movie great, right?
We're going to be cancelled for being relieved that we're not that fat.
I mean, that's definitely not what I'm saying, but let's be honest. Let's be honest
here.
Yeah.
Well, come on.
I'm pretty happy about it.
If you actually aspire to be that big, then you need some sort of reality check.
Well, then you're aspiring to be dead, right?
Yeah, of course. And in fact, do you know what one of the things I really hated about this movie, because I'm on that side of TikTok and YouTube and stuff where I just have a lot of this random content come up, right? And one thing I really couldn't stop thinking about was, I wonder what fat phobic content I can get out of this, and I really hated it because I'm now auto
you were thinking,
to find it. Yeah, and I'm like,
do you think the TikTok crowd? I thought maybe the TikTok crowd or the woke mob like go to see this movie deliberately to be like, that was fat phobic.
Yeah, there is a lot of that.
No, there is. Yeah, there is. That's why I was like,
I haven't heard anything about this. What is it on TikTok, perhaps?
yeah, it mostly is. But like,
Right,
I
well,
saw.
That would be why I haven't heard about it.
So there's like some articles and stuff about like about it being fat phobic, but yeah, there's like a lot of like TikTokers and stuff that would try to, I guess, not analyze it as such, but they kind of talk about it in a serious manner. Like they wanted, it wasn't necessarily the fact that it was fat phobic, but they were getting angry at Brendan Fraser, right?
Oh,
for portraying like a fat man the way that he did for someone who's not fat.
what are they going to do?
Is that
Hire someone
right?
who's this fat?
I don't know, man.
That would be impossible.
Yeah, but that's literally it. The argument was like, he doesn't know what it's like. He doesn't care about us. Blah blah blah. Basically,
What are they talking about?
because he's not fat enough to play a fat man, I think is what they were trying
He's
to
an
get
actor.
at. Don't look at me. I'm just telling you what I heard.
I'm just saying, like, he's an actor. Like, what do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want actors to portray
Yeah.
people that only they know from their experiences? That would be insane.
Yeah,
and
I
they
get.
wouldn't be good actors.
I know it was such a ridiculous thing, and it was like,
They would all be The Rock.
like I was just getting angry at the fact that it was like talking about how once again we're here to demonize like being overweight, and I was like, no, but he's not overweight in this movie. He's not even morbidly obese in this movie. He's like literally like on death's door because he's like
the
quadruply. Yeah, he's the fucking whale. Like, and it's. And
I think it all comes
do you know
down
what
to
I
the fact
mean?
that people want something to be mad about.
I keep
Yeah.
saying this, but I feel bad because I'm meant to be on the
As soon as
on the
like a
woke
movie is
side
announced,
of
it's like,
everything.
this movie's about a man who is fat, and that's what the movie's about.
But it's not.
Everyone's like, oh yes, finally, something I can be upset about. Something I can complain about on TikTok. Oh my god, Brendan Fraser coming back again, doing a really good performance. I don't care about it. He is fat phobic, and this movie, I'm taking it down.
Yeah, I just thought it was insane that. Actually, I thought it was more insane that they're not mad at the movie itself. They're more mad at the fact that I guess there was no actor around that weighed 700 pounds.
Yeah, I wonder why. I wonder why there are no actors around who weigh that much.
I just kind of thought, I don't know what to.
It's all fake.
Say.
It's all fake. They made a prosthetic fat suit for him. It's
God,
fake. I
please.
don't- It's just
On
getting
that note,
cancelled.
should we get to ratings before we get cancelled?
Do you know what we should
This
rate out
movie's
being
getting
cancelled?
cancelled.
Because we're getting cancelled. This podcast is cancelled. I've said it time and time again, we're getting cancelled.
Yeah. We're rated out of Moby Dicks.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. Yeah, I really like this movie. I wouldn't say it's my favourite Aronofsky movie. I think I preferred The Wrestler, which in a lot of ways reminded me a lot of this.
Yeah.
A
A lot of similarities.
Yeah.
Mm.
For me, this was kind of like almost a mixture of that and his film Mother. And how
shit.
that film's like filled with all this like religious imagery and shit.
I completely forgot you did Mother.
Yeah. It's just as like seems to be splitting people just as much as that. And I like that. I like to see him do more challenging sort of stuff. So yeah, I give it 8 Moby Dicks out of 10.
Yeah, nice. Mother is like such a weirdly out there movie that it stops being out there and interpretable.
Yeah, I didn't
And
really
I
like
think
that.
he like literally came out and was like, "Yeah, it's about this." Because like the studio was like, people are going to be confused, Darren. You have to tell them what
Yeah.
it's about. And he's like, it's about this.
Well, my problem with that movie is that I watched it and I was like, yeah, this is pretty obvious what it's about.
It is very obvious. It does ride that line of being like so hyper, like you think that they really want it to be complex, but it just
Yeah.
it
Well, it
goes
becomes
back
too
in on
obvious.
itself and like comes back around in a circle and is like, it's not actually. No, it's pretty much this is exactly what it's about. And when he said this is what it's about, everyone was like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so like, why do they need to explain it? Like, I don't know.
but I like a movie like The Whale where it's obviously about what it is about, but it is also about other things that you can read into and that aren't immediately evident to you. I haven't figured everything out about this movie yet. I think that's a really good thing, and I hope it will reward second watch. And I agree that it's very much like The Wrestler, and these people. He's sort of like brought back Mickey Rourke, and he's like, here's Mickey Rourke again. Here's Brendan Fraser again. These are movies about people, just men who are out of it, and they
trying to reconnect with their estranged
daughters, and they just can't do it, and they don't really care all that much about themselves. Really good one. Yeah, not my favorite Aronofsky movie, but it is very difficult to beat something like Black Swan.
Oh my god!
But it is definitely not my least favorite, by a stretch. I really had a good time with it, and I really thought Brendan Fraser pulled it out the bag. Very glad to have seen him in this.
Yeah.
8 Moby Dicks out of 10.
I'm glad that Brendan's back. I am. I think everyone else has kind of said it just as well. I mean, it's probably not my favourite, but my favourite one probably kills me more than life itself. So therefore,
yeah, baby.
I too am going to have to go 8 Moby Dicks out of 10.
Thank you, Brendan. We love you, Brendan.
See, this applies to every Brendan.
Yeah.
I like
Brendans
that.
are out there putting on great performances in the year of our Lord, 2022. Speaking of a 2022 movie that we only got in 2023, Babylon, new Damien Chazelle movie. We all saw it. What do we think about it? It's about,
you were like, we're
what's it
fucking
about?
cutting straight to the chase.
They're doing films.
Yeah.
It's like the transition from non
to talkies.
To talkies. Silent films to talkies. It's like Singing in the Rain, but everyone's fucking cracked out of their mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what it is.
That is what it is. It's crack. Do you know what? I thought I would have stuff to say, but to be honest, I don't. And I think Chris has a lot to say because he was not that impressed. Go ahead.
I wouldn't say I wasn't.
Oh, you said you're disappointed.
Yeah, I was disappointed. But that's because I really love Whiplash and La La Land, Damien Chazelle's earlier movies. And they're both really, really great. And there was definitely a lot I liked about this movie, but looking back on it, I feel like it was just kind of like individual scenes that I enjoyed. I felt like the movie is just kind of like a series of individual scenes that have like some loose narrative thread kind of going along, but it's not really, I don't really find it very focused, kind of seems all over the place. And for a film as long as it is, I feel like it definitely needed more of a either narrative thread, or I think it needed to just be trimmed down quite a lot.
We were watching, before we watched these American Pie movies, me and Chris were sitting at Max's waiting for him, and we watched YMS's review of this movie, and he said this would have been a great movie had it been an hour and a half and all the unnecessary shit was taken out. And I thought, I agree with that, because there was a lot of stuff in this film that just didn't need to be in this movie at all. I
felt like there was definitely a lot of scenes I really, really enjoyed, but there was so many scenes where I was just like, this is just a copy of the scene I just watched.
Yeah, what's the point? I don't know. It felt kind of, I want to say it felt almost like showy, just for the sake of being showy, but I don't know. So I think Whiplash is the only other movie I've seen of this guy. So I don't know if this is something that he normally does or not. But it was just like, I know it was like meant to be chaotic, but it like almost felt like too much. You know, like, I don't know. It just felt, I'm just going to say too much again, because that's basically what it was. It was like, just grotesque in some manners. Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, because this film just had like, it was like trying to spout out a lot to me, but I felt like I wasn't retaining much of it into something that was interpretable, other than the fact that it was like, wow, flashy, pretty people making these movies, and then they all meet their comeuppance. Oh, great. Like, what the fuck am I meant to say to that? Like, it
is like Damien Chazelle being like, this is mad, innit?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah.
Just what do you say? What do you say to it all?
Well, I'm the only one who saw it in the cinema. Saw it on the big screen. I think that lended to the experience a lot, actually.
It probably would.
Because
Yeah,
it's
probably.
such a huge movie, and like it's insanely chaotic and crazy, and it's pulling you in different directions every other scene, and perhaps it is quite disconnected. I will agree. It's a bit too long, and I do think the whole time I was like, yeah, it's like Singing in the Rain, but worse.
What a great
Literally.
film.
But it knows that to an extent.
It
I
must
think it
do,
knows
right?
that it's Singing in the Rain. I don't think it knows that it's Singing in the Rain, but not as good. I think it's trying to go for like, what if Singing in the Rain? What if they were all like absolutely cracked out and, and like kind of depressed and like upset a lot? And like, what if I just like strung? I think it's like an excuse for him to like put together a lot of very impressive set pieces.
Yeah, definitely.
These set pieces are fucking insane. Like they're so good. They're so good, and they're huge scale. You got like Brad Pitt in there, fucking Margot Robbie, and the other guy. I've forgotten his name. I will look it up. Don't worry.
Diego something.
Calva, I think his
Diego
name is.
Calva. Yeah, that's the one.
it.
He's great. And you just like watch these like really pretty stars on the big screen, and you're like, yeah, all right,
Yeah,
fair enough. I do like looking at Margot Robbie a lot, and Brad Pitt. He's a very good looking guy. And you know, I think it was about like the glamour of it all, and like the X Factor and the stars, all making that transition over to the talkies. As was Singing in the Rain. I don't think it quite pulls off the sort of. I don't know if I would say that it doesn't pull off the transition as well as Singing in the Rain. I would say it pulls it off better than The Artist. But it also, like, Singing in the Rain did it, you know? So, like, why would you do that? But, like, again.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it had quite a bit to say, but I don't think it had a lot to say when it came to what Singing in the Rain had already said.
No,
yeah,
definitely
it's just the R-rated version of Singing in the Rain. They said how much sex, drugs, and like just mental shit can we shove into what could have been Singing in the Rain?
So it was like about that mad aspect of like fame and fortune and how these people are at like the top of the world and seeing all like the shit they get into and how it's like kind of fucks with you a bit and it like it tears you apart in some aspects and how you have to be somebody else. Really, like there's a scene where Margot Robbie has to basically act as though she's like British to like fit in with a crowd of people to like get herself into more movies because she's not actually
party.
She was like kind of not as great of an actor when she was in talkies as she was when she was in silent movies, which is also a thread that they basically copy from Singing in the Rain.
That they do.
But I really like that scene, and
Yeah.
she plays it very well. And she was like talking to them, and then she was like, "Nah, this is bullshit, actually." And she like throws up on them.
Oh yeah, that was
she starts
that was
like
fucking
eating, gorging
minging.
herself, and that was obviously a comment on like the bourgeoisie type of nature of the Hollywood, and especially back in those days, I guess, where they were all very high strung.
Yeah, it was like a huge shift from how it was at the beginning of the movie where everyone was just party animals and it was like just chaos to suddenly being like this really like uppity sort of thing.
Yeah, like this movie, I didn't want to say it to Chris because I know how he feels about this, but I could have thought that the set pieces could have been done by Baz Luhrmann himself, man. Like it had the kind of the glitzy, shiny stuff that
Damien
Baz
Chazelle
loves
was
to
kind
do.
of like Baz Luhrmann, but good.
Yeah, I think he loves doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, loves a little
He
bit.
loves his jazz.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, I could have assumed that these guys could have worked on it together. Like you could have told me it was done by both of them.
I was obviously thinking like there's a lot of jazz music in this, and there's like a character that they bring in, and he's like a jazz trumpetist or whatever. And he's got his own little thread going on. So any time that they were like doing like really like impressive stuff with the music and the jazz, I was like, he's having the time of his life making this movie, and you can absolutely tell.
And he loves like old movies as well. Like La La Land was just like the whole thing's a love letter to like classic musicals like Singing in the Rain and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think maybe he also had fun with the idea that this movie jumps in time as well quite a lot, where it's like it's 26, then it's 36, and then it's 44, and then it's 55, and it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Well, obviously those aren't the actual years, but it did start in 26, and then I can't remember
those time skips really jarring. It didn't feel like there was like a gradual change. It was just like suddenly it's like move forward, everything's different. And I just found it really confusing.
I don't know. I was able to follow it just about.
I think it helps that I already know a lot of like the history of cinema and like the story, like behind the scenes. But I feel like if I didn't know that already, I'd probably be very confused as to what was happening.
I think that was it. No, never mind. Carry on. I'm thinking of a completely different movie. Sorry, please carry on.
What? Okay. Oh, now I've completely forgotten what I was saying.
I've seen so many fucking movies recently that I'm like, oh, fuck.
It's like you just like took control of the train, like careened it off of the track, and now none of us understand what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm just going to eat some crackers. You guys carry on.
On a technical level, there's a lot I really love about the movie. I think visually it's really great. Music, fantastic again. Justin Hurwitz is such a great composer. Yes. I think every single score he's done for these Damien Chazelle movies have been fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. And I looked through the Oscar nominations after the fact as well. I was like, what was this nominated for? Let's bring it up, hopefully, and it will show me. And I was like, this was snubbed for this one and this one and this one. You know, if you're going to nominate something like fucking Elvis for Best Picture, fucking nominate this as well. Like, what are you doing? I won't say... Well, Brad Pitt I really liked. I think he was really good, and I thought he could have been nominated. I don't know. Same for Margot Robbie as well, for Best Actress. The one that I was really upset about was like... Oh, it might not be, actually. Well, I've got to see. No, supporting actor, supporting Best Director. Yeah, well, fuck me. Was he nominated for Best Director?
No, I've got it written down. What?
Terrific. Didn't you say he was? This film was only nominated for like 2?
It was 3, I think.
3. I
started writing a video about Oscar movies, and I did write down what this one was nominated for. Let me get it up. I think it was like production design, cinematography, and music, if I remember correctly.
Really? Production design?
Oh no, it's just production design and costume design.
Right. So.
Not even music.
Absolutely, it should have been nominated for production design. That's I
feel like it's worthy.
Blatantly obvious.
Costume design,
costume design, absolutely. But like makeup and hairstyling, like that's all it was about, really.
Apparently not.
Was it not about that? Cinematography could have got something for that. And costume. It did get costume design. And editing. I actually thought the editing was really good. I don't know, you said it was like jarring to like jump in time, like to quite the degree it did, but I thought it fit very well in terms of like the nature of the movie that was very chaotic anyway. It was like, and now we're in this part, and you're like, fuck, that's just like what it is, you know?
Do you know what it did remind me of? You remember that conversation we had about the Oscars? When we were like, oh, if they notice it has any sort of editing in it whatsoever, it's probably going to win. I was like, this movie could win because you can see it's edited.
It is, yeah, you can see that, but I do think it has a purpose. It's very bouncy.
Yeah.
It's like, I think he's going to like go to he's trying to get like the camera from the place, and everyone's like, we gotta like, we're losing daylight, and they're like, he's like, I gotta get the camera, and he just like waits there for like hours and hours and hours to get that camera, and they're like just all like sitting there and like cats are cut back between. It's full of stuff like that.
Yeah, you
it's
can't
like
imagine
really
it being soft, right?
I think there's a lot of the editing I think is really great, but there are a few bits where I think it will cut to a shot for like a second and then cut away, and I found a lot of that really jarring because anytime there was like a couple of times where it did that in a scene that was kind of slower, and like the other the shots in between would be like go on for a while, but there would just be like this random shot that they cut to.
Yeah, there'd be stuff like that would make me laugh, but I don't know if it's because I'm like, what was that all about, or whether it was just like, oh, okay then. I don't know. Like, just sets off the wrong reaction in me when I see stuff like that.
Sound could have been nominated for sound. Honestly,
it was a sound. You're right.
But it's just, like so massive, like in terms of the production and just everything like cascades in on you. Like, it's like
there's
being,
a
like,
lot happening, isn't it?
Yeah, like being charged by the sun in the
Oh my
cinema.
god!
It blasts the skin off your face.
Yeah.
just from what it is.
It was just insane. It literally was like its own trip.
For sure. Yeah.
I'm not even
And I
mad
like
about
the
that,
angle
though.
where it's like we're singing in the rain takes this angle where it's like, oh man, how are we gonna, this sucks, like we gotta do talkies now and it's gonna be really difficult, but we're gonna do it, gang. But I think in this one it kind of played with the idea of like the people who didn't make it so much, and like people who like literally killed themselves because they couldn't transfer over to this new medium anymore. Like what they were in their bygone days, and it's like, oh, it's like nothing left for me here.
Oh, what, like when
I'm in the future now and I don't belong here anymore.
like when poor Brad Pitt decided to.
Spoilers.
Oh yeah.
But yes.
Yeah. Well, what I did enjoy actually quite a lot was that scene with was it like his manager or something, and she was talking about like how kids will be born in 50 years and they'll feel like they'll know you, but they've never actually met you. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I keep fucking saying this. We live on forever through the mediums we create. Wah, wah, wah. And I was like, I agree with this lady. So I sat there and I thought, I like this scene. This scene's alright actually.
It was a real
I agree with her.
Birdman type moment.
Yeah.
I felt
He
it.
was like sitting with the reviewer, the critic.
That's it. Yeah.
Like, you don't do anything. You just sit there and you watch my movies and you fucking scribble down some notes. And you think you're great. Well, I do stuff that actually matters. And she like went in on why what he did does matter and it will matter for years to come. You know, we still watch these movies. We still watch these silent movies, you know, Buster Keaton and fucking Marx Brothers or
Charlie Chaplin maybe.
Charlie Chaplin and you know, all the old classics, Nosferatu and all those. They're still good. And they do live on through the medium of film, and obviously Damien Chazelle's a guy who fucking loves movies. You know, you get your directors who are like making movies, but I feel like there are a select few who are like, and I fucking love making movies, and I love movies, and this is what it is. There's a point in this movie where he does that maybe a bit too much.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people are complaining about, is when he shows a montage of fucking movies and Avatar's in there, and it's like, oh, fuck, Jesus Christ.
Avatar and the Matrix.
That bit with Avatar in actually did make me howl because I thought, wow, one day, because I know that it's like one of the like biggest movies to ever be made or whatever, but there's something a little bit cringe about like going back in time going, oh yeah, I remember these little blue alien things. That was a movie, wasn't it?
I could have done without that montage, but if it had to be there, I probably would have preferred it to pick from movies that were of the time that it was trying to portray.
Yeah, I guess maybe he thought, that's been done. We're going to put Avatar in here.
I think the idea was like to quickly go through like the history of cinema and all the technological advancements that would happen after the movie. So you got like that character who's kind of like singing in the rain and seeing like not only a reflection of his life and his career, but also where movies are now, because he like swore away movies after the industry spat him out. I think that's kind of the point.
Yeah, but it just made me want to watch Singing in the Rain.
Yeah, I hated the ending.
Oh yeah, the ending was like, I don't even think it was like that bad, but I thought it was
just pure cringe.
I thought it was just a little bit disappointing in a way. I thought it would have been so much better if it had just ended on like, oh no, Margot Robbie got murked out by something or someone. I don't even know. Maybe we don't know why. We don't know how. Whatever.
Yeah, I would have been happy if the movie
ended
before that final like jump forward to the 50s.
Yeah, that would have been fine. I would have been okay with that.
Yeah.
There. But then can't be done because he's got to talk about his love of the cinema, and you can't just end a movie with an actress dying and putting a montage of Avatar and Shrek or whatever. Shrek isn't in the montage.
But it should have been, yeah.
I just want to be clear.
Yeah. I don't think I found it as cringy as you did, Chris.
Nah.
But
I don't know why you
I
feel
definitely was like, oh, this is, yeah, all right. And it was like right at the end, so like that's the last sort of taste of the movie that you have. It was like, oh man. But I still like the rest of the movie. So I was sort of on a high from that. I'm like, yeah, this is really good actually. We could have done without Avatar being in there, but you know, the rest of it pretty good.
Oh yeah, I
and
blocked that out.
2001's Kaleidoscope that he did, you know, it's pretty weird. pretty what's the word? Pretentious. Like, yeah, okay.
Oh, the
Well
whole
done,
film
Damien.
just screams pretentious, but it felt
Purposely pretentious.
purposeful. I was literally had that word in my brain, and you said it. Yeah, it felt like it
Yeah.
had. Yeah,
I think
it was,
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I don't think he made the movie and he was like, there's no parody here whatsoever.
Yeah, it was self-aware, I think,
Yeah.
but it didn't stop it being like too much. Does that
If he
make
had made the
sense?
movie and then not included a scene of the guy watching Singing in the Rain, then I would have been like, do you know you made Singing in the Rain? Like, but worse.
I just wanted to watch Singing in the Rain. Like,
Yeah.
it actually annoyed me so much because I thought I just spent 3 hours of my life watching a film that I prefer the original. I want to go and watch Singing
that's
in the
kinda
Rain,
how I
please.
felt watching it. It was like, at the end, he's just like, yeah, this film was like Singing in the Rain. You remember this movie? You remember how good this one was?
Do you
And he
remember how
shows, like,
amazing this
a
film
3 or
is?
4 minute like montage of just the best scenes of that movie.
Mate,
Yeah.
I was so pissed
And
off.
the camera's like panning over the audience, fucking loving it for about
Yeah.
4 minutes or something.
Yeah, it feels like that.
Mate, no one can make Singing in the Rain. Like, I'm sorry. Just,
Yeah.
that film is in leagues of its own.
So certainly some stuff to take issue with Babylon. Oh shit. What do we think about Tobey Maguire? That's the last thing I'll say.
Yeah, that's the best bit of the movie
Yeah.
for me. That
My
whole
favourite bit of
sequence
the-
is
yeah.
insane.
Fucked up.
But then I'm just obsessed with Tobey Maguire. Like, I saw the back of that man's head and I started doing this little fucking like dance. I was like,
Yeah.
yes, he's finally
Yeah.
here.
I saw a tweet the other day that was like, shout out to random horror scenes in 3-hour long dramas for no reason.
Yeah. What are some of those?
Like, you got like the scene in Zodiac where he goes to visit that
Oh yeah.
possible Zodiac killer. You
Yeah,
got
yeah.
like the Winky scene in Mulholland Drive. There were like 2 examples.
Winky scene?
The
The like homeless person behind the
oh yeah,
Whoa.
yeah, of course.
great jump scare.
Yeah, Tobey
Yeah.
Maguire was a great jump scare in this movie, even though we
he
knew
was
he was
a jump
there.
scare in and of himself. His
He looked
fucked
like
teeth
shit,
and his
didn't he?
creepy little laugh. Oh, I loved him so much.
In it, like I was so excited because I kept doing this thing where I was like, well, I know this film isn't over yet because I haven't seen Toby yet. And then every single like 20 minutes I thought, okay, it's still not over because I still haven't seen Toby.
Here he is. He's a fucked up freak. What the fuck?
Oh my God. I knew he was going to be a fucked up freak because in the trailer he does that thing where he does that weird smile and his teeth are like proper yellow and I'm like, oh my God, he looks like shit. And then I thought, yes, he looks like shit. He's going to be great.
Yeah. Let me take you to the worst place in the world.
It's like some dungy basement place.
Oh, what the fuck?
He'll do anything for cash.
That was a horrifying scene. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck am I watching? And the theatre was not very packed. It was like being alone.
Yeah.
And just watching that. And fucking huge. This huge screen. And I was like, I'm scared. I don't like this. But I really liked it.
Yeah, no, I never felt more tension than when the water leaks on that dollar bill and it runs and he's like, it's fake. But he says it so calmly and I'm like, oh my fucking God. Someone's
Yeah.
gonna get murked out, man. I was waiting for Toby to pull out
Yeah,
some sort
oh.
of sheath.
I mean, you know something's going to happen.
Yeah.
You're like, what's going to happen? Yeah, it was crazy. Crazy stuff. What should we rate Babylon out of?
Rats.
I was going to say rattlesnakes.
Rat all snakes.
Yeah, it's a
That
compromise.
was a great scene.
That was a really great scene.
So good.
That was one of my favourite bits.
I want to watch my dad fight a rattlesnake.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Nice.
Yeah, this was probably my least favourite Damien Chazelle movie. I think why I found it so disappointing, but a lot of that comes down to the fact that I wasn't a huge fan of First Man either. So for me, it's like it's almost like his filmography's taking a bit of a decline. So I'm hoping whatever he does next, I like more.
I felt that. I felt it like you guys
I don't
can't
hate
see.
this
You
movie.
guys
I
can't
don't
see
think
these
it's a bad
reactions,
movie.
man.
I do think it is a good movie. I just didn't love it, and there was a lot that really annoyed me.
Everyone
about
listening
it,
to
but
the SMM right now to see Max is seething
yeah,
behind.
I'd watch it again though. 6 rattlesnakes out of 10.
Jesus.
Fuck.
Fucking hell. I don't think he's lost it at all, man. I think he's a fantastic fucking director.
I wouldn't say he's lost it. I don't think he's like become bad or anything.
Chris
I've
was
just
saying
not
he's
really
losing it.
liking his films less as they go on. That's kind of more what I mean.
Interesting. Fuck. Actually, I think I agree. But not. I still really enjoy it. I'm not like. Oh man, he's like kind of falling off, isn't he? But I am aware that Whiplash and La La Land and was there another one?
First Man.
No, another one.
His first one, whatever that's called.
Okay,
Something
so
about walking in a park. I don't know.
all right, so Whiplash, La La Land, top tier movies. First Man, really brilliant movie, and definitely different for him to be as good as that was. That was really great, and this is also really great. It is very much a Damien Chazelle movie, though. But I love Damien Chazelle movies, so I really had a good time, and you could tell he was having a good time. I just wish that he maybe had dialed it back a bit or like done a few things differently. Yes, 8 rattlesnakes out of 10. It's always an event, you know. It's always an event to see a Damien Chazelle joint.
A grand affair. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've only seen Whiplash, but I love that movie a lot. Actually, I think that film is actually amazing.
Get on the La La
Land.
No,
she refuses to watch it because she knows what happens at the end and she thinks it sounds too sad.
It's not too sad. It's awesome and great.
Yeah, to be fair, once again, I'm hit with the Chris effect where he'll be like, God, this thing's so sad, this thing's so depressing. I'll be like, oh, it's actually not.
It wasn't depressing, I just found it quite sad. Made me cry a lot. But it's good. Worth the sadness.
I don't know. You're not selling it to me, to be honest. Although my mum keeps telling me to watch it as well. 5 point, it is no Whiplash, so I'm going to give it 6.5 rattlesnakes out of 10.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone, singing in a park or something on a bench. They go to coffee and they sing.
They go to coffee.
That guy's in it, the one who sings All of Me, John Legend, he's in it.
John Legend,
love John Legend
is there. Watch La La Land. Cool. We watched the movies American Pie 1, 2, 3 and watch them all back to back. This is the marathon. This is the crux of the episode where we talk about American Pie 2 and American Wedding. American Pie was the first one. Take it away, Chris.
Yeah. American Pie, 1999, directed by Chris Weitz and Paul Weitz. The film is about 4 friends in an American high school who feel like losers because everyone around them's having sex and they're not. So they make a pact that by prom night, all 4 of them are going to lose their virginity.
Yep.
That's it.
I haven't seen any of these movies before, so I saw them for the first time.
I have seen them all.
Yeah. So earlier you said that you were like waiting for me to come home and you were in my home and waiting for me. And that is because I was out at the time and I was getting drunk.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was a treat.
So yeah, I returned home relatively smashed and watched all these movies. I don't remember a thing about them, but I don't think that was because I was drunk. I think these movies suck. But that being said, I wanted to give American Pie the credit it deserves. I went back and I watched it again at 2 times speed. Because I wasn't going to dedicate that much time to it. Like, come on. And I was like, maybe I could do all of the movies like that again because I really wasn't paying attention because I was wasted. But I made some pretty funny notes, so that's fun. I like
Nice.
waking up and being like, oh look, these are funny. But as soon as I watched American Pie again at 2 times speed, I thought there's no point in watching the rest of these because this is exactly what I thought they were the first time, and it didn't matter that I was drunk. And
Doesn't
progressively
change much, does
getting
it?
more drunk.
Mm.
These are bad movies. they're very much products of their time.
Uh-huh.
Don't think you can make movies like this again.
No.
I don't think I watched like on the way here. I watched like an interview with one of the guys. Forget his name. It's like the blonde guy, whatever. He was like, "You couldn't make American Pie nowadays."
What, the Goon guy?
Something like that.
John William Scott.
Yeah, him.
The one who's
Yeah.
Stifler.
Yeah. He was like, "You couldn't make American Pie these days," and no, you couldn't. He's
Yeah.
right. And I think he was more like talking about how comedy has changed and how comedy is a genre that's changed a lot over the course of the 20th and 21st century. Drastically different to the early 2000s and the late 90s, where I suppose you get away with more objectification, misogyny, and kind of it was funny to like sex is funny, I guess. The fact that the plot itself is supposed to be funny, like they need to get laid and they're young boys and they want to get laid.
It's a film made by boys for boys.
Yeah. So I am not a boy. I am a man, and I didn't find this funny at all. Not even at 2 times speed. So yeah, it's just like a lot of that, and it's a lot of the same kind of stuff. Just sort of drinking myself into a stupor as the movies go on. Just like, oh god, let this end, please.
Yeah. These movies are basically, here are some characters. Only 2 of them really have any personality at all. If you can even say they've got a personality, they kind of just have like, they have their shtick. Like you got Jim, who's the awkward guy who constantly gets himself into weird sexual situations somehow. You got Stifler, who's like basically the Jay from In-Betweeners type, like the big mouth guy who's like...
Big mouth?
Yeah. Big mouth.
Right.
He's like, says he's all that, says he shags everyone, but in reality he probably doesn't. And then you got the other 3 who are just kind of like the same people.
No, you got
there are
Finch.
5.
There's 5.
There's Finch.
Oh yeah, Finch. He's like,
He's the one who sleeps with Stifler's mum.
yeah, he's like, he thinks he's more mature and
He's the
he
ohm
acts
guy.
like he's cooler than everyone, but he really isn't. So it's just the other 2 are literally the exact same
guy.
character.
Yeah.
Oz and the other.
And they both look really similar as well.
I have a note here that just says, "Fuck this."
I didn't.
All 3 of the movies are just kind of that. It's just like, here are these people, they're doing stuff.
It just felt like nearly 2. I don't know if it was nearly 2 hours, but we'll just say it was nearly 2 hours of like the same joke, quote unquote joke, over and over again. And this movie was not made for me. I am not in the demographic in any way, shape, or form for this movie.
No.
And it was hell. This marathon was actually torture.
I think the first film especially, there's like nothing for any female person.
No, not at all. Shit.
Natasha Lyonne?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you're a massive
She's
gay
there.
like me, then yeah, no,
She's
that's
there.
true.
Don't do much.
No, she
just-
doesn't have to. She's Natasha Lyonne.
She just talks about sex, about how good sex is.
I fancy
Then
the
her
shit
friend
out of
is like, I've never had sex before. What's it like? And that's about it.
Actually, my favourite part of the whole experience was telling Max that Natasha Lyonne is a straight woman who's married to a man, and Max was like, "There's no way. There's no way."
Yeah, he was like, this
There's no
changes
way.
everything.
Wait, what?
You
That
don't
was a
remember? It was really
conversation.
funny.
I don't remember this at all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Like
told you,
blew
and you
your
seemed very
mind.
like, you were like, "This has blown my mind."
She's a great actor in that sense. I didn't like Jason Biggs. I don't like Jason Biggs as a person. I've got a few notes about him.
Can you read that my favourite one out again, please?
Yeah, here it is. It says, Jason Biggs is shit and ugly. His haircut sucks. I wrote this when I was very smashed.
That's my favourite note.
I stand by it. Because I watched it again at 2 times speed, and he was just as ugly, only faster. And I thought you looked a bit too similar to one of the other guys when I was drunk. Was like, who the fuck?
Yeah, you
What the
kept
fuck is
saying,
happening?
"Oh wait, that's not Jason. Wait, he was just in this room." It was like, because that's not him. You're like, "Oh, they look the same."
You do. That's a sin of a lot of movies of that sort of time, or even like now. I don't know, where it's like just cast people that look a bit too similar, and you can't tell them apart. Especially when like the plot offers absolutely nothing for you. It's like, what am I supposed to attach to? Fucking Jason Biggs and his identical twin. No point.
I mean, what I did
Yeah.
actually like about the casting is that they do look like normal people. They aren't like really beautiful looking like high
Quite
schoolers
the
like you get
contrary.
in like a
I know.
lot of movies now.
I actually agree
I
with
think they
Chris
actually
there.
just look like human beings.
No,
Yeah.
because it reminds me of like, as much as this film was like pure shit, it kind of works on that level of the fact that they're not beautiful people. Like, okay, for instance, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna talk about this god awful fucking remake again. But the In-Betweeners remake didn't work because everyone was too beautiful and it wasn't funny. Right?
It doesn't work if they're good looking.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It like
Because they're like
in this film they
losers who
weren't.
can't get laid, and the goal is to get laid. But if they were too good looking,
Yeah.
you'd be like, well,
Yeah,
just get laid.
And
like,
that's
Whereas
kind
I
of
think
why
if
this
they
this works.
made it today, it would fall into that trap.
It would, because
Mhm.
everyone would be too pretty or like way too famous, and everyone would be like, "Oh, come on, we all know you're not a virgin who's trying to shag before prom." Do you know what I mean? This
it's
only,
like the grittiest thing we have nowadays is like the boys, but they're all gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's like literally everyone is pretty everywhere. How is this a
Too
thing?
pretty.
Yeah.
There's a note I have here that says, and I'm saying, oh, there's a note here because like this is when I was drunk, so I have to like differentiate when I was like drunk and not drunk. This is strangely articulate. The woman getting her tits out is unbelievably sterile, and that's a lot of what these movies are. It's like these pretty people who just don't. They look a bit too good to actually communicate the fact that they are human.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not even watching people at a certain point.
Yeah, you actually
You're just
said
watching
this.
like models.
He actually said this when it was
Well,
happening. Do you remember?
I'd say the guys are like look pretty normal. It's all the women who
Yeah.
look
Yeah, but I think
attractive.
isn't that supposed to be like the whole point though, isn't it? It's like we are these
Dolls.
Jason big looking motherfuckers and we got to get these models who are way out of our league. And fake tits. They all had fake tits,
Yeah,
by the way.
they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, this film it just kind of feels like it's just made to ogle at naked women.
Yeah, but like, and I know I should be saying it because it's like, because it is gross and it is objectifying, but like, what do you expect from a movie about 5 like geeky guys in high school who are like, yeah, we totally got to lose our virginity? Like, that's all I expected. All I expected was like hot, naked women. That's all I expected. And that's what I got. That's the film gave me what I
Yeah.
came for.
Well,
And I don't like it.
I rewatched Superbad not that long ago. That is kind of the exact same thing. It's like these geeky, losery guys trying to get laid. But that
Yeah.
film actually is really good. That actually
Ah.
works. That film holds up really, really well because it's not like the whole film isn't just like, here's some hot women, here's them naked, here's like loads of dumb sex jokes and stuff like that. It feels like proper characters interacting with proper people.
Yeah, are these people like fleshed out though? Because that's another problem with this
Yeah.
movie is that
Yeah, in those movies, those characters are really well developed, including the female characters as well.
these characters are like one-dimensional. I was
Yeah.
talking about this with
Well,
Chris,
the
and I
women
think I
exist
said the wrong
because
thing.
the
yeah.
men want to fuck them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And but the thing is, even the boys are really like one note. They're all like,
Yeah,
They're
like
all
I
like,
said,
ugh.
they all have that one shtick, and every single interaction that they have
It's
with
based
anyone
on
is
it.
based on that one thing.
it just,
Yeah, they're all the same.
yeah,
They're all just the same character.
that's what I mean. Like there was like
Just like
almost
one of them looks like Jason Biggs.
yeah, it was just like, it was like a nothing movie, but like it's so famous, and I can't figure out why.
Because it was like a product of its time. That's
Mm.
literally it. At the time, it came out when like comedies were all like big comedies anyway, studio comedies. They were all like PG-13. They were all quite sterile and tame. Like it was like the R-rated comedy, especially the R-rated teen comedy, was like a thing of the past. So it reignited that.
No, they should have left that dead and buried, man. But
I
then
don't know. Because if this didn't happen, maybe we wouldn't have stuff like Superbad or any of those like Judd Apatow movies. Like they don't really hold up. A lot of them don't hold up that well, but still, they also kind of opened up the floodgates to more recent comedies that
Well, yeah, this
It's in
is
the vein.
this conversation's really difficult to have because this franchise was not made for me. I don't think it was really made for anybody who isn't like a 14-year-old boy, which is why I'm like, I don't know how to have this discussion with you guys because there's nothing in it for me at all except Natasha Lyonne, and even then she's not in it enough for me to give a fuck about
Maybe
this
that's
franchise.
why I loved this movie when I was like 14, 15.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's just
Yeah.
nothing in it for me. So therefore, these movies are like nothing to me. They hold no, like, I have no nostalgia for them. I have no
Yeah, for me.
Yeah,
it's
no
like,
care for these.
Just
There's-
another marathon to
Yeah.
yeah
throw to the pile.
yeah. This was it. This was a
Play another
marathon.
one of
but
these.
yeah, exactly. It was just okay. We'll get through this.
Yeah, what I remembered the most about the first one and the third one especially is I remember there being like a lot of heart and like wholesome, sweet moments. But rewatching it, I was just like, there's not really any of that.
No,
I
it's
know.
none
I
of
think
that.
I think you're just seeing things that aren't there, man. Because me and Max watching this, and we were like, just ready to jump out the fucking
Well, it's
window.
like- I remember really
For real.
liking Oz and the girl from American Beauty's plot. I remember
Mhm.
thinking, no, that's
Oh,
really
okay.
sweet. But
Well,
watching
no,
it
that
this
was
time,
quite
it's just
sweet
like
in a way, though.
it's just a
kind of.
generic like romantic comedy thread, like
Yeah.
plot
Well,
thread.
yeah, because it
What was he like? He was like, I want to fuck this girl. And she's like, I heard you wanted to fuck me, and that's rude. So now, just
Yeah.
leave me alone, loser. And he's like, damn, I actually kind of wanted to get to know you. We don't even have to fuck. And like, that's their arc. And she's like,
Yeah.
that's really nice. I guess we can fuck now.
Yeah, literally.
that's yeah.
I don't want any of these losers to get laid.
No.
I don't
They're
give
not
a
even
fuck.
like losers in a sense that like, oh, they're just lovable little losers.
yeah.
Just going about, you know, like they're just like me. No, they're like actively horrible people.
Yeah, I don't want any of these people to be within a mile of a woman ever.
Like,
to
I
go to
actu-
jail.
Yeah.
like-
There's a scene where they fucking set up a camera just to watch a woman get
Yeah.
undressed.
That
like,
is the
that's
worst thing.
criminal.
Yeah,
That's illegal. You can't do
Yeah.
that.
That is the worst thing in this whole series, I think.
Yeah.
That is just like not okay. And I don't understand why anyone ever thought, like, watched this movie and was like, yeah, that's just that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, like-
Yes.
That was like part of the reason why I put this trilogy on the list, because I wanted to see if it did, like, if that was as bad as I thought it was.
Not great.
Yeah, it
No.
feels almost like predatory to like not even the women, but like the young boys who like watched all these movies and might get the sense that that's like okay
Yeah.
to do.
They're even like, oh, it's not that bad. Because then she flips it around on him.
Yeah.
And then like he's the victim, sort of.
Yeah.
And it's like they're both
you can't
just
just
as
write
bad.
yourself out of a corner like that.
And she she
Yeah.
finds out about that it's like been leaked online. She gets shipped home to another country, and she doesn't like.
Shit.
She isn't upset about it. She's just like
I don't remember that bit happening.
at the end of the movie,
That's
they're
really sad.
like on Skype with each other
What
and they're
the
chatting.
fuck?
And then in the second movie, she comes back to like try and sleep with him.
Really?
Like, could you imagine finding out that someone had recorded you and then like live streamed you to like a bunch of strangers on the internet, and then just
A
go,
load of people
"Nah, I kinda like him,
watched
though."
you like masturbate
yeah,
because he set you up and was filming you the whole time. And
and
yet she's still like, oh yeah, that's fine.
and the thing
Just
is,
straight up humiliation tactics.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
and I'm not here to like shame people for like how they look or whatever, right? But like, it wasn't even like Jason was like this beautiful man that you could just go, oh, I can get over that. Like, if you had seen him, you'd been like, he's a fucking creep. Like, what?
You'd be like, that makes sense. He's a sex offender.
He is literally a sex offender. That is amazing stuff.
I think that one scene alone just like completely solidifies everything else I think that's wrong with this movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just kind of like,
Because like for everything else, there's like it is like very, it's not okay. It is quite misogynistic, but you can almost let it slide in a way that
It
it's
seems
just kind
kinda
of
tame
like
though,
it's
doesn't it?
of its time. It's just kind of like how things were back then. But that one scene just like takes it too far.
yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
don't like it in the sense that like, I think it's quite damaging and kind of like borderline dangerous for like young boys watching who are like, oh, do you know what? I think it'd be quite cool to do that myself, actually. I won't get put on any registers or get in trouble or anything. It'll be fine. I just think that's really fucking weird. And like and it's like there's young boys watching, well, young-ish boys or whatever, watching it, right? And you can't even blame them because they're just stupid young boys who are like watching this movie. But they're like consenting adults who actually put this in a film and said, this is gold. And then hired Blink-182 to watch the footage as well, which
with a
just,
monkey.
Do you know what? It just adds to my hatred of them because I don't fucking like them anyway. So the monkey, what did the monkey ever do?
Yeah.
Just exists.
It was with Blink. It was like
it's an accessory to
they were like,
crime.
we have this monkey. Like, he's kind of our friend. I guess.
Probably toured with him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool, but like just the second I saw Blink in there, I went, "Yep, this movie was made for like teenage."
It was made in 1999.
Yes,
It just completely dates the movie.
it feels like 1999. Like you watch it and you go, "Oh."
The soundtrack really dates the movie as well. It's like all like late 90s.
All three of the films are like
punk.
that, though, in my opinion. Like I actually like the soundtrack for most of the films, but I
like the soundtrack but only because it's kind of nostalgic. It like reminds me of like the music I listened to when I was a teenager.
Oh yeah, I actually low key kind of really fuck with like 2000s pop punk. Like I'm not even going to pretend I don't because I really do.
Got
The music
Flagpole
was
Sitter in it.
Yeah, the music was going at 2 times speed for me, so
I bet that was quite interesting.
I hated it.
Was it like when we watched Beverly Hills Cop and the theme was going at 2 times
Well, I
speed?
don't like pop punk at the best of times. The movies of this sort of time and this kind of movie, it's riddled with them. Riddled with
really
pop punk
is.
bullshit.
It really
I hate it. It is so
Yeah.
much like that kind of music to put in. Yeah, it's like an American Pie type movie. We're going to put Blink-182 in it, or whatever the fuck kind of bullshit, dumb, terrible pop punk was at the time.
And to hire a
it
band.
all sucks, man.
Like it reminds me of, what was that film? The Scooby-Doo movie when that band was in it.
Yeah.
I can't remember what band it was, but you see what I'm getting at. It's the same sort of thing, innit?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, let's hire a
Simple
pop
Plan?
punk. I don't.
In the Scooby-Doo one.
No, I think
No.
it's Sugar Ray, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Sugar Ray.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Sugar Ray. Yeah. It's
See,
all
that's
like that. Yeah, exactly. Sign of the time.
Exactly,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Who the fuck is Sugar Ray? That should be the title of this.
Who the fuck is Sugar Ray? It's the documentary.
I think my favourite part of just watching this whole movie was just watching Max watch this movie. I didn't like this movie at all.
Mine, what was I like? I remember just not being
You were
enthused by it.
screaming.
You were
You were
literally
just
shouting at the movie
screaming.
saying you hated it.
You were just
Oh, really?
screaming at how shit it was the whole time.
Nothing was
on.
happening. You were just like, this sucks.
We're still watching this movie, and you were like
Yeah, but
looking down at your phone and looking up and going, "Oh my god, it's still on."
Yeah, it was almost like you thought if you looked away, the marathon would be over.
To be honest, though, I was feeling that right with you, though. Like I thought, yeah, Max, same man. And Chris is like,
yeah, I wasn't
"Not
wrong.
that bad." I was like, "No, it is."
I wasn't wrong. And I watched it again at 2 times speed, so I know I
you're
wasn't
mad.
wrong.
You're insane. Do you actually remember any of these movies? Like, when you watched it again, did you go?
Did I remember
I
any
remember
of it?
this. Yeah.
Not really. If I'll be real, no.
Okay.
There's a scene where they were like,
That's a
they
blessing,
learned the
innit?
word MILF. And they go, yeah, MILF. Mum, I'd like to fuck. And he's like, yeah, dude. Yeah.
This film popularised that term.
MILF. It's like, okay.
Yeah, this film popularised that term.
Yeah, I bet. I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all.
Yeah.
I
You just
actually forgot
imagine all
about
these
that.
little kiddies being like, all these little boys being like, that's a funny word. MILF. Like, great.
Yeah.
Clitoris. His dad says it like a dinosaur. Clitoris.
Oh, clitoris.
Here's how you find
yeah.
the woman's clitoris. Why are you saying it like that?
Yeah, he was weird, that guy. He's like in every film
Yeah.
as well, isn't he?
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
he's in all
he
the
was
straight to
strange.
DVD ones for some reason.
Yeah. He
He's-
loved it. He loves it.
I have to say, like, he is like the only thing I really like about these movies.
I
That
wonder if he's going to
character.
be in that new one, because apparently they're making another
Yeah,
one.
fifth one. He'll
What?
be
Yeah,
there.
they are. I remember Chris
Fucking
showed
the
me
guy
it.
just said, you can't make American Pie now. He said it.
Yeah, it probably will be
It'll
really
be toned
tame.
down, probably. It probably won't even be an American Pie.
Yeah.
It would just be one of those, the films that they make and then they just attach the franchise to it.
Well, I mean, obviously, we didn't watch Reunion, the fourth one, but
No.
although that does have a lot of like sex jokes and stuff in it, it is much more like it's less misogynistic than the other three. It feels much more PC and much more okay.
Much more okay.
But a lot of that
As
comes
okay
down
as
to the
it be.
fact that they actually make the female characters actual people. They try and
Oh,
develop
well.
them a bit.
Well, that's nice, isn't it?
But yeah,
That's nice.
I like Jim's
Nice of them
dad.
to throw them a bone.
Yeah. But yeah, I like Jim's dad. I like Eugene Levy's performance in it, and I think just the character's quite wholesome. Like he's like sees his son do all this like really fucked up shit, like glue his hand to his dick at one point in the second one, and like do all this crazy stuff like fuck a pie, and he still like just has nothing but love and like pride for him. I just think it's quite sweet.
Do you know what? I think I said this when we were watching it. But if my child was fucking a pie and I walked in on it, therapy would be the first place that we both go, because that is fucked.
It was a very shallow pie as well.
Yeah.
What? How did he get his dick in that? Like no joke. Like, was there like
Tiny
a
dick.
hole in the bottom of the metal? Like,
Maybe he's
This
got
doesn't
like a
work.
really curved dick.
And on that note, I
Yeah.
guess
I
we'll
think we
rate
need to
the
be done with
movie.
this.
Out of curved dick.
Up to you, man. Like you said
I
it,
don't
not
like
me.
that, but I'm okay with it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I really loved this movie like when I was a teenager, but it does not hold up at all. It's very cringe. It's very not okay. I give it like, I don't know, I guess 5 curved dicks out of 10. But the more we speak about
That's
it, the
so
more I'm
generous.
like, that is actually really generous. But
5 is so
Obscenely
generous.
that is what I rated it after watching the movie, so I'll stick to that.
It was perhaps because I was so vehemently against it, and you were like, "Well, Max is drunk. What does he know?" But I was correct. I'll read off a few of my other drunk notes actually, because it's quite funny. There's one that just goes, one says, "American football." I don't know what that was about.
Good bad.
Oh, they play right, so we had
They
this
play
discussion.
lacrosse.
Yeah, they play lacrosse, and me and you said that's a pussy sport, and then you were like, why don't they play American football? So then I guess you just wrote
Right.
down American
Why
football.
would I
So
say
no.
that?
Yeah,
I
then
don't
we
know.
had a debate about what lacrosse actually was.
What?
Oh, because we were arguing about the baskets on the bottom of
Yeah.
the sticks, and you said no, the basket's like this size, and Chris was like, no, I didn't mean like a large basket, but it's
Yeah.
a basket on the
I was
bottom.
like, they're like sticks with big baskets, and you were like, they're not big baskets.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Oh, it was really insane. Like it was just like almost like we weren't even talking to Max anymore. We were just talking to some random fucking guy. Like
What?
it was just so
Max's
random.
inner thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah.
The thoughts he never normally brings up.
About American Pie, as I had never
About
seen
lacrosse.
it before.
And lacrosse as well.
Your
You seem
hatred
to,
of lacrosse.
mate. It was
I guess
real.
so. Guess I hate lacrosse.
Yeah, you
I
did
didn't know
say you
that.
hated it.
Okay. There's another note. It says a lot of white people, which is true.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single coloured person
No.
Nope, not of my knowledge.
except for Harold from the Harold and Kumar movies. He's Asian. That's like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. One last thing. Oh, I'll choose this banger of a line. Oh wow, he fingers a girl and he comes. What a great movie.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
What was it out of?
Curved dicks.
Curved dicks, yeah.
Yeah, of course it was. 2 curved dicks out of 10. Hated it.
Yeah, I can't even say I remember what I rated it, but I think mine is also too generous. I think I gave it 4 curved dicks out of 10. And
Wow.
that is definitely too generous because this movie.
I even watched it again and I was like, yes, I was correct.
Yeah.
Okay, American Pie 2 was from 2001. It was directed by J.B. Rogers and I guess they just do it again.
Yeah.
I couldn't really say.
They're in college. They rent out a summer house
Okay.
for the summer.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
That is literally
Nadia,
the whole movie.
the girl that Jim filmed, she's coming back for the summer or coming
Okay.
back for this big party they're going to have. They're going to hook up.
I don't
So
remember
he's
that
like,
either. To be
goes back
honest.
to Alison Hannigan from the first movie. It's like, you need to teach me how to be good at sex, how to woo a woman because this girl's coming and I want to satisfy her.
Well, it sounds like she was already there.
Yeah.
If she was coming already.
Yeah.
That's
That's the plot. You got other things going on. I guess they're like working as like painters or something. There's like this scene where they're like painting someone's house.
I think
and
they're
never established that
decorating.
they're working there until this one scene where they're like decorating someone's house.
They're on a scaffolding outside,
Yeah.
aren't they?
And there's like these two women who lived there, and Stifler's like, oh my God, they're lesbians.
And then they break into their house and then they hide in their closet. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yes, you
oh,
do.
I remember
Yeah,
that.
they hide in
Yeah.
the closet and they get found, and they're like, oh, we just wanted to watch you lesbians. And then they play a game where the girls are like, oh, we'll kiss, but you've got to kiss, or we'll do this, but you've got to do this.
Yeah. I remember that. I was
Fucking
thinking,
cringe.
I'd do that in a heartbeat. What do you...
I hated
come on.
that scene even when I liked these movies, because I just thought it was so just embarrassing and not funny.
Yeah,
No, it's not funny.
Yeah,
Nothing about this is funny.
no, like I don't think I ever laughed out of sheer thought the movie was funny. I was either laughing because Max was saying something obscene, or I was laughing
What?
because I was like, this is so fucking awful. I
This
can't
movie is
stop
just
laughing.
the same as the first movie, but louder and crasser.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more sexually charged, but also more. It's just like.
There's a lot more gross out stuff going on, a lot more just like I said, it's a lot louder. There's a lot more shit going on.
I'd actually argue that this movie is leagues more immature than the first
Definitely.
movie. Like, yeah, it just becomes like a big contest of who's got the biggest dick and who's got the greatest boobies. Like, I was just bored. Like, I think the worst offender there was that fucking Stifler kid. He's so annoying. He's like, oh my God, the big dick is back. Hey everyone, baby. Do-do-do-do-do-do. And I was like, I fucking hate you. I hate you so much. I hope you eat shit and live. It was so annoying. I actually, do you know what? I really don't have anything to say about this movie because I don't really remember anything that happened other than that closet bit and then the bit at the end where Alison, I've forgotten her name in this
Alison
movie.
Hannigan.
Yeah, her.
Whatever her name is in
Yeah,
this
and
one.
Jason Biggs. See, I don't even know their characters' names.
Yeah, they fall in love.
Yeah, and then they make out at the end of the film, and that's really all I remember. I don't remember anything else because what the fuck was that?
Got Jim's parents walking in on him getting laid at the beginning, and then her parents randomly show up for some reason.
Oh yeah, we I don't know if Max remembers this, but for the beginning 5 minutes or so, we put on the director's commentary. And there were subtitles at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, shit, yeah,
commentary
yeah.
subtitles.
In the subtitles, yeah, I remember that.
And it was just him talking about like the scenery and stuff. And then there was a Blink-182 song that started the film, right? And there's like these like subtitles at the bottom that was like, yeah, we really liked this Blink-182 song. So like,
No, it was like we really liked him in the first one, so we got him
wanted to
back for
bring
this
it
one.
back. And I was like, oh my God, this director, was it in this film? Or was it in the third one where the director goes on camera and talks about what the film is? Oh, it's the third one.
Yeah.
Fuck
There was like
me.
a intro from the director on the DVD.
Oh, interesting.
So funny.
I remember there was like a point where a guy was like pissed on. I was
Yeah, that's
thinking,
in
like,
this one.
Was that this
Yeah,
one?
Stifler gets pissed on.
Yeah, it's like, here's some champagne. Like, he gets pissed on.
I thought that
Would
was
he
in the
not
third
like
one.
know? Would he not be able to smell that it was not champagne?
I
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
he
wasn't
does
that pissed.
eventually.
said that. I was like,
That would be like the first thing.
yeah.
If somebody said, "Here, have some champagne,"
There are two
and it was actually
distinct
piss, the first thing I would think is,
smells.
"Well, this doesn't taste like champagne."
Yeah, there are two distinct smells: champagne and piss.
Yeah, they're both very potent.
It's like they kind of have to, with this one, they're like, here was a bunch of, here's like the structure of the first film and how it like delivers all these different set pieces. Let's just do it again. So you got like the intro with Jim doing something stupid, and then you got something disgusting happening to Stifler, and then you got this big like sequence in the middle of the movie that goes on way too long that's like just not okay anymore, like really misogynistic and kind of gross. That obviously being the closet thing in this one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because that's also
You got this big
illegal.
event happening at the end of the movie with the first one it being prom, this one it being their big party.
Oh no, but I guess the big offender at that party was when the quote unquote lesbians come back, and they're like, "We never said we were lesbians," and then it like at the end it cuts to like a this fucking shot of Stifler and these two women in bed with him, and I was like, "This is shit."
But that's also like something from the first film. Like the first film, it like ends with it panning on like all the guys and the girls that they've hooked up with at their night, and like this one is the exact same.
I suppose it's like the directors or the writers trying to live out some kind of high school boyhood fantasies. And they're like, what if this had happened to me and this would be cool? And now I can put it into a film and it's essentially like it is happening to me, you know, because I'm directing it and it's right there.
And they can get away with it, right?
Aren't I cool for doing this? That's what it feels like.
They do feel like films made about and for teenagers written by adults.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Who want to live vicariously through these young teenagers.
Yeah,
maybe the reason why Superbad works so much is because they wrote it when they were teenagers.
Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah,
that actually
maybe.
makes so much more. Like, well, I haven't seen it, but like
I
feel like
in a very
not
long
seen
time.
Superbad.
No,
oh man,
but I feel like a film like that would make more sense than having grown adult men go, "Oh, that's what you should do. You should sit in bed, wank off to his porno, and then like super glue his hand to his dick. That'd be so funny." Like, you're like 30, grow up. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, all I've got are notes from being drunk on this movie. There's maybe you can help me out with some of these.
Okay.
I put in quotes here, condemn.
Oh, Jim's dad says condemn. A bit like how he said clitoris.
Ah, okay. Just a weird pronunciation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one that I think is
Okay.
What? What? I couldn't even like comprehend what this could possibly be about unless I just like misspelt it.
Go on,
It says,
hit us.
There's also a quote and it says, keep pugging. That's a no from everyone.
Pugging?
Keep pugging.
I thought he said keep plugging.
Keep plugging, yeah.
Keep plugging.
Keep plugging.
Keep plugging.
What does that mean?
I guess it's something to do with how he was shagging. I don't actually know.
I can't even remember what the context was, but someone says keep
plugging
plugging.
was the word,
I think
not
it's
plugging.
his dad, maybe, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I do remember at the end there was like a girl who like goes up to a guy. She says, "Fuck me, geek," and he says, "Affirmative."
Oh yeah, then they go to yeah.
That's
happens at that
Nadia
party.
and Sherman.
Yeah.
He's like they've both been rejected, and he's like he like uses his whole he calls himself the Shermanator, and he's like, "Oh, come with me if you want to live," and then she's like, "Fuck me, geek boy," or something.
Wow.
Yeah, it was cringe. But I actually said someone needs to write that down, that quote, and then I saw Max get out his phone and write it, so I knew it was going to come back up.
Got a note that says, Jonathan Biggs is a shit name.
Oh, right,
That's not even his name.
Right, no. Now, yeah, let me tell you what happened here, right? Max looks us dead in the eyes and goes, his name is not Jason Biggs. And I said, yes, it... No. Chris goes, yes, it is. And then I looked it up and his name is actually Jason Matthew Biggs. That is actually his name. And Max kept going, no, that name's not real. It's a shit name. It's not real. It's a shit name.
All right. Well, I'm correct. It is bad. Jonathan Biggs.
I mean, he
is a
didn't
shit
choose
name.
his name.
He could choose his name.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he can. You can't be
Well,
an American Pie
but-
and be like, "Oh, what's your name, son? Jason Biggs. That's my
Yeah.
name." They'd be like, "You're perfect, mate.
But
You don't even need to audition."
yeah, that is his actual name. I mean, he could change it, obviously, but that is his.
Obviously,
real name.
yeah. And all like classics playing here. You got Fat Lip coming in.
Yeah, Fat Lip was great.
Alien Ant Farm's Smooth Criminal cover.
Yeah.
Yep, that
Yeah.
was also good.
Oh boy, these are ageless, timeless classics.
Mm.
Only good part about the movie.
In Too Deep played as well, and that was pretty,
Yeah, that was true.
pretty on
That's a good one.
brand. But
That
yeah,
was a good one. That's it though.
yeah, I don't remember anything else.
The Blink song.
Yeah, apart from that.
Of course, there was a Blink song.
Yeah, Every Time I Look for You.
Okay,
There you go.
if you say so.
See, I'm glad that Max also doesn't know what it is because I'm like,
I don't know.
it goes over my head all this like Blink-182.
It is a
stuff.
deep cut, to be fair.
Deep cut Blink song.
Yeah, same
we
with
like
the
to see
first
in-
one. They got Mutt, which is also a deep cut.
Mm.
Okay.
You're welcome for that information.
Thank you.
What were you
Information I
rating
did
this
not
one
need.
out of?
Keep Puggins.
I wonder if your phone like auto-corrected it to pugging instead of plugging, but I feel like plugging is a word.
It says
so
no puggin. I spelled it Puggin, and it hasn't come up with. That's not a word.
maybe pugging is a
I
word.
suppose so. Keep pugging.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, it's just the same movie as the first one, except for a lot louder. It's like the classic sequel thing where it has to be bigger and bolder than the first one, and it definitely is, but it doesn't even remotely work. I get 3 keep puggins out of 10.
Keep pugging. Yeah, not a good movie. Don't really remember it, but apparently, I gave it 2 keep puggins out of 10. So 2. Thank you very much.
I don't have my phone, so I'm going to assume I gave it 2.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Righto.
Oh, sorry, I didn't say
two
keep
what?
puggins.
Yeah, baby. So what was the third one?
I don't have my phone. The wedding,
You
the
watched
wedding
it?
one, that came out in 2003, directed by
American
someone
Wedding.
called
American Wedding.
American Wedding, directed by Jesse Dillon. Great name, actually. I do like the name Jesse. And it's literally about Jim proposes to Michelle, and they're gonna get married, and
It is the wedding one.
Stifler wants to throw this massive bachelor party, and that's really about it. And then
That
they get
happens
married at the
halfway
end.
through the movie.
Give Stifler his own movie. Don't make up a wedding just to showcase the Stiffmeister.
Yeah, it is
Thanks,
literally just
Kat.
a Stifler movie.
An R-rated episode of How I Met Your Mother. Well, I don't remember a lot about this movie because me and Max had basically gotten to the point where we were like tapped out. We
I
were
just
like, we're
remember
over
pouring
it.
Chris a few drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kept going out to get rum.
Yeah, rum
Rum?
and coast. They
Rum
were
and
good
Coke.
rum and coast
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That's yep.
And
What are we rating this one out?
This one, they really like try and dial up the like emotions, the sentimentality aspect of it.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't remember any of this movie, so it's almost like Chris is going to be having this conversation with
Yeah.
himself almost. I only remember the first bit where it was like really grotesque because Jim is about to propose to Michelle. Finally, I know their names now. It's only taken 2 fucking movies to realise what their names are. And then
Yeah,
she
and-
goes down on him in the middle of a restaurant and everyone's like, "Whoa, that's disgusting."
Got some classic gross out sequences in this, like
Yeah, apparently.
when Jim shaves his pubes off and throws them out of a window, and the fan flies, like throws them all over some of the wedding guests and all over the cake.
Okay.
Got a bit where Stifler accidentally feeds the ring to Michelle's mum's dog. Then he has to try and get it from the shit, and someone catches him and he pretends it's a truffle and eats it. That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
classic moment.
Good movie then.
Yeah. There's a
all
whole
of-
sequence in a gay bar as well for some reason.
Yeah.
They're like trying to get this like fancy dressmaker to make her dress. They go to a gay bar, and then there's like a 10-minute dance off between Stifler and this gay guy who's
who was
the
called
dad from
Bear.
Good Luck Charlie, called Bear.
Oh yeah.
I remember that bit because there was loads of like great like
Good songs, yeah.
LGBT anthems, man. Like I was feeling it.
Like the theme song to Good Luck Charlie.
That is true. That is true. And at the end, the guy's like, "I love you," and Stifler's like, "Cool, man." And I was like, "What? He just did this to prove a point?" Like, because he's like, "Everyone knows the stiff man."
Yeah.
I hate that guy. He's so unbearable.
Oh, I have that down. Yeah, gay dance scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the bear.
There's a love
course.
triangle in the movie between Stifler and Finch. They're both trying to shag Michelle's sister. She seems to be kind of into both of them. Stifler's like, "Oh, I'm gonna like pretend to be a nice guy. She'll fall for me." and then Finch like tries to be the opposite, like some loud, obnoxious douchebag, but she also seems to be into him. Then there's a bit where she says to Stifler, "Oh, meet me in this dark closet and we'll shag." So he does, and then accidentally shags Michelle's grandma because the lights are off and he doesn't notice.
Yeah, well, you know.
Right, now
That's bound to happen.
Yeah.
that's a you problem because you should be able to tell the difference.
Nah,
unless
it's a
his
classic slip-up.
grandma's like,
Yeah.
It's a classic
shit.
clip up.
What else
Happens
have
all
you
the
got in
time.
this one? Oh, yeah, there's the bachelor party scene. Goes on for what feels like half an hour, just a bunch of naked ladies doing shit.
well, remember we were talking about this director's commentary, right? In the beginning, he sits there and he goes, "This is the extended version, so we've actually put in more scenes from the bachelor party that
Yeah.
I don't remember even seeing."
There's an extra
so-
5 minutes in that scene, I think.
Oh, is that all it is?
I'm pretty sure there's
He's
an
acting
extra
that like it was like some great.
I mean,
bonus
still, in a
content.
scene that's not actually that long, that is a lot of content. Probably like doubles the length of that scene.
Director's commentary.
No,
Sorry,
the
it was
director's
like a,
intro at the beginning.
It was like a video of him talking about what
Right.
the film was.
But I mean, these are all directed by like different people. Like every time it's
Mhm.
like a different director. Let's not pretend as though there's some sort of cohesive vision between any of these movies. It is just like the boys, the young boys, they have sex. Hee hee.
Yeah.
Girls are hot. It's like that's the through line, really. So to have any kind of like any commentary at all feels like a slap in the face.
And
like,
you'd think
what
they
the
had-
why the fuck would you bother?
Yeah,
it feels a bit patronising,
You'd think if
doesn't
they
it?
had anyone, they would have the writer, because the
Yeah.
guy who wrote the first one wrote all of these, like all three of them. He didn't do the reunion one.
Do you know what it kind of feels like that? It feels kind of fake. Like, imagine getting on the screen and being like, yeah, like, we wanted this film to mean so much to the audience of American Pie. And it's like...
The audience
who
of
gives
American Pie.
They're old
We
now.
wanted it to mean so
Yeah.
much to those little 14-year-olds.
It's just like, I would respect it more if he sat there and said, yeah, this film is dumb because
Yeah.
it's just dumb. And I'd be like, I respect that. I'm here for that.
Those kids who watched the first one, they're now 4 years older.
Yeah, and hopefully 4
They
years
must be
more
there
mature.
now.
Surely, the thing is, I was telling Chris about how, like, you grow out of these movies because they're like the kind of movies that obviously you don't grow up with, you grow out of them. So,
Parts
like,
of you grow up with it.
This podcast is over. I'm done. I'm over this conversation.
Yeah, I remembered this one being a lot more mature than the other two, but it's not. Maybe it's just like a bit more like, it's a bit more emotion, I guess, in the fact that they're getting married and it's like this whole love
That's
thing.
the
and-
lie. That's the trap. That's where they want you to think that it's more emotional and like mature because it's like, oh, but like there's a wedding that just
Yeah,
mature
that's
people
like the
do, and it's like,
easy,
yeah, but-
way to make it seem a bit more mature
Yeah,
and
of
to
course.
try and add emotions, just to chuck a wedding in there.
I think it's lazy, it's patronising, and it was not even remotely funny or memorable.
Or memorable.
Yeah.
And you know, it's nothing that Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1 did not just perfect and
No, it's true.
surpass in every possible way.
Yeah, that is true. There was no imprinting of children in that. Actually, no, that might not have even happened in the first one, to be fair. I don't remember.
No, the first one was good. I have a note here that just says, I miss when The Simpsons was good. And for some reason, I am now actually watching season 4 of The Simpsons, and I feel like it was because of this note.
Yeah, I was.
Can we just?
That's really weird
Why
because
is-
we were literally talking. I was saying about how we were watching season 4.
What the fuck?
Wait. So
I was like, oh, season 4. That's when it's got good. That's where
Wait,
we're
but what's
watching
that
it
got to
from at
do
the
with-
moment.
did I miss something? What's that got to do with American Pie?
We were
I don't know.
Do you
There
remember
was a
what
bit
was happening?
where I brought up a scene from The Simpsons, and Max was like, "What?" It was the Mr. Incognito bit.
Oh, because so basically this guy had a really dumb name or something, and then we were like, oh, my name is
Yeah.
Guy Incognito. And then we looked it up and we
you were
watched
like,
it.
what is that? So I got the scene up.
And you were like, oh, I miss when the Simpsons. Okay, right. Yeah. I remember that.
Yes.
I was like, what's that got to do with
Because
American
that
Pie?
note just exists in a vacuum on my document here, and it's you got no
Do you know
idea.
what? I also miss when The Simpsons was good because Chris caught me when I was doing work and not paying any attention to anything in my life, but I was actually watching it. I've started watching season 33 because I started watching the Treehouse of Horror episode that parodies Parasite, and then carried on watching the season, and it is bullshit. It is.
And I
shit.
turned it off and you had a go at me. So I had to put it back on.
because you didn't even tell me you were going to turn it off. He just comes in, he takes the remote and he just turns it off while I'm watching it. Like, that's just rude.
fair enough.
An episode had finished. It wasn't like it was halfway through an episode.
Yeah, but you could have just said,
Even so.
hey, I'm going to
we
I'm
had
just
to
going
watch
to turn
the
it off. Like,
two-parter episode that's like a parody of the Fargo TV series.
it was weird. And do you know what? Safe to say that The Simpsons, because they were saying about how like The Simpsons is getting like this small resurgence where it's like kind of getting good again. Kind of, apparently. But I just think it's still shit. Although,
No, that's not what I was going to say. Why the fuck are we talking about The Simpsons in so much depth now? We were supposed to be talking about American Wedding.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing to talk about American
modern-day
Wedding!
Simpsons.
Sorry, everyone. Yes, no more talking about The Simpsons. But there's nothing about this movie.
It was so bad that Darcy and me just went on Tinder for like halfway through the movie and just scrolling through Tinder.
Yeah, we did, because I was like, Max, what you doing? He was like, oh, I'm just on Tinder. And I was like, oh, come on then.
This made me download Tinder for the first time in my life.
I was actually very smart. I turned over and I was
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I kind of did this.
Something needs to happen here.
Yeah, I think I did like a double head tick. So I was like, I've never in my life.
Okay, what are we going to rate this one out of?
Weddings.
No, shut up.
No, it doesn't deserve anything more
Good
than
Luck
that.
Charlie's.
Gay dances.
No, the dad from Good Luck Charlie's.
What even is his name? Does anyone know?
He's the dad from Good Luck Charlie.
Oh,
I
he's
don't
just
even
the
know
dad.
his
He's
name in
just
that
dad.
show.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
the dad.
Yeah, they call him Dad.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
I prefer this slightly to the second one, but not by a lot.
I love it. I
know.
wish we record these sometimes because, like, the reactions are like.
We got to get like a camera involved here. 'Cause
That's
So-
golden.
I
We're
tell
like,
When I was a fan of these movies, it was always the first and third one were my favourite ones. The second one I wasn't a huge fan of. And then the fourth one I thought was quite good.
But now you hate them all.
I don't hate him. I just don't really like him. 4. The dad from Good Luck Charlie's out of 10.
It's not good. But I don't remember it, so I'm just gonna say that this is the rating that I gave it when I was drunk. So I gave it 1. The dad from Good Luck Charlie's out of 10. That's the rating. 1. One single father out of 10.
Once again, I don't have my phone, so I don't remember. Was it 2? Did I give it 2?
Yeah.
2 dads from Charlie, so cool. Like, what was the rating again?
Good Luck Charlie. The dad from Good Luck Charlie.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And that's American Pie, the trilogy, the show.
The trilogy, the show, the musical,
They did
the
another
movie.
one, American Reunion, but we didn't watch that.
And soon they will make another one,
Yeah.
and we will be there opening night.
No, we.
I
no, we
saw
won't.
American Reunion in the cinema.
But until then, that's fucked.
Yeah,
But
I know.
until then, adieu to you, American Pie. Sucky movies. That's that. That's the end of the episode. We
What
have
deflated, look at that.
a show season 1 of a show to watch next episode, because it's episode 150, and every episode that ends in a 5, we watched season 1 of a show, and it was my turn to pick. So I picked season 1 of the OA. Go and watch that. That's on Netflix. Go watch that before you can no longer watch Netflix, because whoever just the password sharing gets taken away. Go watch the OA season 1. And we'll talk about that in the next episode. Social media. We got that. Pretty sure. Go and follow that. And also subscribe and like and just give American Pie 10 out of 10 on IMDb. Thank you very much for listening. And does anybody else have anything more to say about American Pie?
Bye, Miss American Pie.
Bye, Miss American Pie. But the Chevy to the levee, then there's some other words.
That's actually how Max was singing it when we went over there as well. It's like he knew 3/4 of the line.
Song's not even in any of the movies.
No.
What a waste.
Bullshit.
I know, it's the greatest
It's a fucking waste.
To be fair, it would be a bit of a dishonour to the song, to be honest.
It's right there. It's there for the taking.
Well, you can blame American Pie for that. So.
Remember to blame American Pie for that. See you in the
Blame
next
it
one.
for all misogyny.
Bye, Miss American Pie.
Miss American Pie.